Hello, everybody. This is Mike. I am one of your co hosts on Bag of Giving. And switching my sources here because I have all of the lovely people in my audio, and I'm not actually quite sure how I would do the thing where I can't hear them, but I can speak to you while having the system thing in. Production skill acquisition is a process, and I'm very happy to be with all of y'all today. But mostly, I will be the ghost behind the screen as I make sure that production runs smoothly for all of these lovely folks. And I am excited to present to you the Star Trek Adventures crew who are going to entertain us for the evening as we support our charities for the month. Um, Fortunately, I can just take the earphones out. This makes it a very minor problem. So yeah, we've got a great cast of wonderful folks here, including people with a fun variation and variety of Star Trek experience. We've got some Star Trek swag being shown off, and we've already received a really good number of donations even before our wonderful players are going live. And I'm going to put into the chat a reminder that you can find information about Bag of Giving at bagofgiving.com. And if you make a donation of $5 Canadian or more, and whatever the equivalent is in your own currency, you will be entered to win this month's giveaways. Last month we gave away a big bundle of kind of heroic books since we were supporting the Hero Initiative, and we will hear from, I think, probably Brandon about some of the stuff we have going this month. If not, then I will go and do the research, and I will check back in and let all of you wonderful people know in chat. When we jump over to the players, I would love if y'all who are watching could let me know in chat if there's any audio problems, so that I can try to do what I can to be able to make sure that you all have a wonderful experience with this team as they present a Star Trek adventure. Star Wars would be different. I ran some Star Wars things, not Star Wars today. Star Trek, more with the jumpsuits and the phasers and nacelles and dilithium crystals and all of the wonderful things that you expect with a Star Trek story. So, with that said, I'm going to mute myself for you all for just a moment, communicate with the team, and then I'm going to bring us over to our card and throw it to Nathan, who's going to be our GM for today.
Hello and welcome to Bag of Giving. This evening's wonderful adventure, I hope, will be taking us through Modiphius's Star Trek adventures. I have some amazing authors with me today who I will be introducing shortly. But before I start, I do want to explain a little bit about what Bag of Giving is. It is a group of us creative types having fun, but also trying to make the world a smidgen better if we can through some amazing charities. And today, or rather this month, Bag of Giving is focusing on two charities in specific, or in particular. One of which, near and dear to my heart, based in Canada's capital, Max Ottawa, focuses on improving health outcomes of guys into guys through a variety of ongoing initiatives. This includes health and wellness support groups, harm reduction programs, youth leadership initiatives, and focus programs for Black queer males and individuals over 40. Their strategic plan and making donations can both be found through the Bag of Giving website, and I encourage you, of course, to check that out. Our second spotlight is TENT, which is the Transgender Education Network of Texas, which is based out of Austin. information. Trans rights have been under serious threat recently in Texas, making tense work all the more important. Their focuses include bullying and harassment support for trans youth, cultural competency programs for schools and businesses, Trans Safe, and lobbying for trans rights in the Texas legislature. Learn more about their important work, again, if you go to bagofgiving.com, you'll see the links and also how to donate. And a reminder that we will be tracking the donations throughout this event, and you'll see the numbers climbing up, and that there are prizes. Every $5 worth of Canadian money, and I know that's that weird multicolored funny money to most of you, but every $5 worth of Canadian money will get you an entry for one of the amazing prize packs. You should check those out as well. I'm sure the links will be popping up throughout the event. As this is Star Trek, and I'm going to be our narrator, I feel like I should have the rank of Commodore because they're the ones that just show up to screw everything up for the crew on a regular basis, at least in the original series. So I'm going to be your narrator tonight. My name is Nathan Burgoine. I'm a tall queer author of mostly short queer fictions. I tend to write YA, spec fic, and or romance, so sometimes all at once. But it's not about me tonight. It's about our awesome authors, and I'm going to get them to introduce themselves by rank. So we're going to start with Lieutenant Commander Jaren Ortho, otherwise known as Brandon Crilly.
That's me. So I was typing yes, Commodore Burgoine in the Twitch chat, so I wasn't really paying attention. So hi, I'm Brandon Crilly. I'm one of the co-founders of Bag of Giving, along with Mike Underwood, our lovely, who's doing production behind the scenes. And yeah, I'm in Ottawa. Holy crap, I can't talk. I'm an Ottawa-based author, like Nathan. And I've got a bunch of short fiction out there, and my debut fantasy novel is coming out later this year, which is very exciting, from Athos Arts. And I'm playing Lieutenant Commander Jaren Ortho, who is the first officer of the USS Cassini. Is a Bolian officer, grew up on this kind of tight-lipped science colony that he doesn't really phone home to anymore. This is his first posting as an XO, and he is totally not nervous about that at all.
And next we have the only one of us who's actually familiar with how this game works. And he's going to be playing, coincidentally enough, Lieutenant Commander Frunk, our Ferengi Chief of Operations. Take it away, Mike.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mike Chen. I'm a science fiction author. I write a lot of character-driven speculative fiction, some of which is behind me right now. My upcoming Star Wars, wrong franchise, but Star Wars Brotherhood comes out in 4 or 5 weeks on May 10th. So I'm jumping universes here. But Frunk, who you get to spend a few hours with, Frunk is a Ferengi engineer who was rescued by Starfleet when he was a little baby and raised on Earth. So he's got a lot of like cross-cultural issues that he's dealing with. So he deals with a lot of imposter syndrome, but he is a dedicated engineer. His trusty tricorder is always with him. He's really good at robotics, at starship systems, and jury rigging, a bunch of stuff. But he also plays the guitar because he just wants to impress people because he does not feel loved.
Oh, I already want to give him a hug, and he's a Ferengi. That's so weird. Next up, we have our Chief of Security, Lieutenant Lavore, played by the amazing Darcie Little Badger. Take it away, Darcie.
Hello. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. I grew up watching Star Trek with my mom was an original Trekkie back with like the olden days, but this is my first time trying this as a game, so be patient. And I'm a fantasy writer of young adult books, short stories, comics, and other things. And my second book, A Snake Falls to Earth, was recently announced as a finalist for the Nebula Award, for the Lodestar Award. I won the Newbery Honor, and it's just I'm just so happy to see all the support that's been receiving from the sci-fi fantasy community. As always, it's wonderful. This is my second game with Bag of Giving, and the first one was so much fun, and I'm so happy to do this for good causes, like the ones we're supporting today. And yes, Lieutenant Lavore is Vulcan Security Chief of Security. And what can I say about her? She's very competent at her job, but as I told everyone in the email thread we had going on, she still struggles with socializing with people in the mess hall. And she doesn't quite understand these humans, which is something that I think a lot of us can relate to. So we'll see how she manages to get through this in one piece.
Next, we have for fans of Lieutenant Rowe and other sort of slightly against archetype characters, we have our next lieutenant, who is Lieutenant Tethys Lyle, and I will allow her to be introduced, him to be introduced. Go right ahead, Premee.
Thank you, Nathan. Yeah, I'm super excited to be back with Bag of Giving. I hope we get a lot of donations tonight. Thanks everyone for coming. Yeah, I'm Premee Mohamed. I write sci-fi, fantasy, horror, alternate history, and sometimes I mush them all together in the same book. My most recent book out was The Annual Migration of Clouds, which is up for a couple of awards, including Canada's own SpecVic Awards, the Aurora Awards. And my next book to come out is the third book in the Beneath the Rising Cosmic Horror Trilogy, which will be out in late April, provided that civilization hasn't collapsed by then. So I'm very, very excited for that to come out and finish the trilogy. Dr. Tethys Lyle is absolutely dedicated to science. Sometimes he has trouble understanding why other people aren't as dedicated to science as he is. For example, they don't even want to get arrested for doing science. He's recently been pardoned by multiple bioethics committees. He would just like the pardons to show on his record that those actually did go through. And he's very, very excited to share whatever knowledge it is that he may have with the crew tonight.
And finally, last but certainly not least, we have our most recent graduate from Starfleet Academy, Ensign Ash West, who will be played by Alex White. Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex White. I am the author of the recently released Star Trek Deep Space Nine Revenant about Jadzia Dax and Kira and Worf and Bashir. So if you want to get a really sort of a, I don't know, it's almost like a noir episode, you should check it out. It's a deep dive on Trill culture. I also have a duology of alien books you can check out, The Cold Forge and Into Charybdis. And then if you're interested in my original space operas, the Salvagers trilogy is fully out, so you can binge the whole thing. And then you can also check out the first book of my new trilogy in July, August Kitco and the Mechas from Space. Oh, yes, Ash West. Well, Ash was like born into Starfleet, like Starfleet royalty, so to speak, like the parents, the grandparents, all that stuff, which is great. And I did very well at the academy. And then as soon as I got out, well, my parents did divorce though when I was really young. And so as soon as I got out, my mom died on board the USS Banshee. She was just lost in a temporal anomaly. And then Dad and stepmom also bought it on one of the other deep space stations. Cardassian War, recent cousin disintegration, another cousin eaten by an energy field. I'm really actually kind of a nervous wreck right now. But I've got my first ever flight controller position, which is awesome because the other ensigns hate me now. It's so cool to be the one that gets to go fly when I'm afraid of anomalies now. Anyway, let's do this Star Trek thing.
Fantastic. All right, so it is traditional in Star Trek Adventures, the Modifius Adventures, to start with a log. Usually it's the captain's log, but given the scenario that I put together, I asked our first officer to step up to the plate. So you're about to get the first officer reading his log just before you start out on your little adventure.
First officer's log. What was supposed to have been a week of shore leave for myself, our operations officer, and our chief tactical officer has instead turned into a request to meet the Cassini just outside the Badlands for a reconnaissance mission. 2 starships have apparently gone missing in the Badlands, including one of our sister ships, and Starfleet wants the Cassini to determine whether or not those disappearances were due to the Maquis, the Cardassians, or some other unknown situation. Given the Badlands are home to extreme plasma storms, we've also been assigned a mission specialist, one Lieutenant Tethys Lyle, who has a record of, shall we say, colorful incidents. The captain has asked me to make sure Lyle's expertise is put to good use, preferably without lengthening that list. To that end, myself, Chief Operations Officer Lieutenant Commander Frunk, and Chief Tactical Officer Lieutenant Lavore met Lyle at Starbase 375 on our way back from our averted shore leave, and the Admiral granted us the use of a runabout to make our rendezvous. On the plus side, this also gives me the opportunity to meet our new Chief Navigator, who will be piloting us to the Cassini.
All right, so the usual directives are in place for Star Trek, the Prime Directive, obviously. The mission-specific directive that you're looking at here is exactly what Lieutenant Commander Arthur just mentioned, that you're trying to figure out what happened to 2 missing starships. And of course, the first thing you got to do is go catch up with your ship, the USS Cassini, which is an Intrepid class ship under the command of Captain Salvatore. She is known among the Admiralty as a bit of a bloodhound. They jokingly call her a bloodhound. She's had a long, illustrious career of tracking down things that have gone missing. So this is why she has been assigned to this specific mission. She's also really bad at the people person skills, to the point where she has a bit of an amusing reputation. She's the child of diplomats. She's also Starfleet royalty West, but somehow the diplomacy gene basically skipped right over her. She's very straightforward. She calls it like it is. In fact, she usually gets some of the highest ratings of intercrew person-on-person reviews from her Vulcan crew of any human being. So she says what's on her mind, and people just have to adjust to that, which is why she tends to rely on her first officers to do all the talking, smoothing things over parts. She's also known as the captain maker. No less than 4 of her previous first officers have captaincies of their own. So being assigned to her or her ship gives you a little bit of a spotlight on like the expectations of others, and is yet another reason that a lot of the other recent Starfleet graduates are maybe a little bit envious of Ensign West right now, given that he gets to go be the pilot on this awesome new brand spanking ship, and they're probably doing some like minor transport work somewhere else. Okay, so you are on a runabout. Do we have a name for the runabout? I believe Dr. Lyle named our runabout.
Yes, the runabout is named the Firebag. A beautiful river full of fish, lots of biodiversity. Why is everyone laughing?
I love it. So you're on the runabout, the Firebag. It's a small class 2 shuttle, or sorry, a size 2 shuttle. It's been set up for personnel, so it can actually handle up to 10 people. That also means it doesn't necessarily have as good sensors, weapons as it would normally have. The runabouts are very modular. You can swap them out for whatever necessary operation. The Admiral was apparently quite happy to grant you permission to take the runabout and that lieutenant. So you've made good time. They only have 2 stations on runabouts, basically the pilot and the operations officer. So I'm assuming we've got Ensign West at the con and Lieutenant Commander Frunk at ops, and the rest of you are either in the rear section where you can chat and socialize, or if you are on the bridge, you're sitting at one of the 2 side stations, which can be in a pinch used to do something else. Okay, so how about a quick round of what were you doing on shore leave? Or what were you hoping to have done on shore leave?
That's a good question. I think Ortho probably had told everyone that, just casual relaxation and I'm just going to try to get my mind off things, when in reality he was planning on spending the entire time reviewing as many third-party captain training modules and any sort of background training tips and how to be the perfect XO and all these legends about Captain Salvatore, just as much as he can soak in when he's not sleeping, and would just do that for a week or however long we were going to be there for.
How about Lieutenant Lavore? What is the Vulcan's idea of shore leave?
Well, it gives me a chance to meditate and to review the Starfleet security systems.
Nice. And Lieutenant Commander Frunk, where did you head?
Frunk, I went to Risa for my first ever trip. And I brought my guitar, which I thought would be really great to just relax and meet new people. But as much as I want to meet new people, the social pressure of being in Risa with all of these really tall, beautiful beings of all sorts of different species and races or in colors, I wound up just kind of sitting by a fountain playing my guitar by myself. But I did enjoy a wide range of cuisine, and I wrote a few new songs.
Nice, nice. I don't know if Lieutenant Lyle wants to talk about the last couple of weeks or not. But
I was in a lot of meetings. I was meeting with people, and the people were making decisions. It was all very scientific. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
And how is the ensign handling the fact that he is literally on a runabout with like 3 senior officers and apparently an out of control scientist?
Well, I think they're freaking out a little bit. Just because, I mean, they don't really know any of these people. I mean, I probably haven't gotten a chance to really interact with any senior staff other than fly ship here. So I'm going to continue flying ship place.
All right. So it doesn't take you too long. You're flying the ship. You've got Frunk beside you to realize that the Cassini is not at the rendezvous point. Long-range sensors have just caught up to where it should be, and it's not there. So one of the basics of Star Trek Adventures is that most die rolls come down to a combination of one of your attributes and one of your disciplines. So if I could have Lieutenant Frunk, who is currently at Ops, Lieutenant Commander Frunk, if you would give me a reason and science task, which will be assisted whenever you're on a starship that's functional, it's assisted by the ship itself. So you get the 2 dice, or your dice for reason and science, and someone else gets to be the runabout and roll 2 dice. I don't know if who would like to be the runabout for the duration of this discussion, but anybody want to volunteer? You get to be an inanimate object.
Go for it, Commander. I only have 1d20 with me, so.
Okay.
Thanks, Ensign.
All right. All right. So it's a difficulty of 2, given that there's the plasma storms in the distance and the ship is not where it's supposed to be. So there's some interference going on. But that said, I believe anytime you're using sensors, Frunk, you get 2 added dice because of one of your talents, right? You're just really, okay. So you'll have 3 dice instead of 2. And what is your reason in science?
8 reasons, 3 science.
Okay, so you're needing 2 11s or lower on 3 dice, and if you succeed on even one of them, then Brandon gets to roll his dice to see if he can help. The runabout itself offers only a 7, so it doesn't actually have a lot of extra oomph, given that it's set up for personnel transport. But so you have 4 dice right now with which to try to get. Did you want to buy more? You can if you'd like. Okay.
It's too early. We don't even have any momentum to buy, right?
Well, you can always give me threat.
Okay.
That's something.
It's a trap.
For a 2. Don't chase a 2.
So I rolled a 4, a 15, and a 10 for 2 successes.
Okay, so you've already got it. Brandon, if you still want to roll for the shuttle, because if you get less than a 7, you actually earn your first point of momentum.
Yeah, we've got to try for that. All right. Oh, that's a 6 on the die. And I don't. Yeah, so we should be good.
Yep. So you have 1 point of momentum now. Mike's going to keep track of that for us. So it's not too long. You do like a sensor sweep, and you realize you think you've got the edge of an ion trail. It looks like the Cassini started towards where they were going to meet you, and then veered off for some reason. You are pretty sure that it's near the edge of one of the plasma storms, which is a strange place to head towards. If you want to wait a little bit, you can hail, or you can just aim your way and pilot on. Your choices.
So Frunk is very into chain of command. So I'm going to call, is it Ortho? That's the
Ortho, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna call Ortho over and tell him the findings of the sensor sweep.
Okay. As I crawl, I figured I was sitting in the back. not like trying not to obviously keep one eye on Dr. Lyle the entire time. And so as I make my way forward, and if I can, I want to like make eye contact with Lavore and just kind of like, and try to be very subtle, but I'm not competent enough to be subtle. Just kind of like, and before I go up to the front, towards a plasma storm. Do we know how dangerous does that particular plasma storm look?
You're not close enough to get that kind of a read on it yet. You are almost in hailing range if you wanted to wait a little bit longer, or you can just plot an intercept course and book it.
Do we have any? We don't have any probes on the runabout, right?
No, it's set up for personnel, not science. So
Okay.
I'm leaning. I mean, knowing the captain wouldn't have taken the ship into obvious immediate danger. I'm open to waiting a moment and hailing them before we follow. It could be something routine.
Okay. All right, so you wait just a few minutes and then finally, okay, yeah, you should be in hailing range. Hailing is just doable in this scenario. You hail the Cassini and no one answers.
We're sure this is on, right?
Is it? Do we know that it's connected? Like when you say no one answers, like are the systems answering one another?
Actually, Frunk, can you give me a? Well, actually, you tell me. How would you like to check that?
So, Alex broke up for just a second there.
Okay, he wants to know if there's a way to confirm if they got the signal.
Let me think. I'm trying to think of what we could actually do to confirm. Like, I don't think you can't really send like a test ping out there to anything.
Well, if anyone could, I'm sure our Ferengi engineer could come up with something.
Okay, I'm going to jury rig the computer to actually no, I don't even have to do that. Okay, just do a diagnostic on the communication systems to make sure everything's running functionally.
Okay, right ahead. I believe that's a reason engineering.
Okay,
and I'm going to give that a difficulty of 1. That's
okay.
that's a simple system to check.
Reason 8, engineering 4.
Okay.
12 and 7.
Okay. So that's another point of momentum for you. And you are sure that your end is working. And from what you can tell, you're actually not seeing the little snap crackle of a connection going through. So if there's a problem, it's not on your end, it's on their end.
Okay. So I say, Commander Ortho, we are clearly sending something out. We are not getting anything back, and we can't even tell if it's being accepted for full transmission or if it's just if they're trying to send something back and they're not able to do it. It's just their end is completely missing.
I mean, that sounds to me like they could be in some sort of trouble. My thinking is we try to intercept and catch up to them, assuming everyone is okay with this and putting ourselves in harm's way.
A democratic chain of command.
A lot of the books that I read, it's not important. I take us plot a course, intercept course with where we think the Cassini has gone.
Yes, Commander.
Thank you.
So that is up to our Ensign West. So Ensign West, I need a reason and con task from you. The runabout's computers and con will assist you. So again, Commander Ortho, if you want to be that, that's a 10. This is actually going to have a difficulty of 3, so it might be a good time to show you guys how people can assist each other. So with Frunk on operations, if Frunk could come up with a sort of a logical reason how he could help plot this course, he can then throw another die into the mix and make it 4 dice.
When do your values come into play? Just curious.
So a value will give you an opportunity to spend determination. So say something comes up that strikes you as, oh my gosh, this is hitting my value, either in a positive or a negative way. You have the option to spend your determination. Now, determination allows you to pre-roll a die and have it come up as a 1, which is a critical success. So it's always just automatically going to give you 2 successes. So for example, your I'm born to fly, you could use that right now if you wanted to. It'd be a bit early and a bit of a waste to absolutely guarantee that you're going to have 2 successes right out of the bat.
Yeah, let's just I guess fly regular then is the advice of the house.
Yeah, you'll have 4 dice to work with in total, so you're probably okay here.
Okay.
And also I'm trying to remember now, you have push the limits. Yeah, so you have a specific ability when it comes to piloting a ship that if there's any difficulty increase because of damage or weird situations, that you ignore one part of the difficulty. So this would normally be a difficulty 4 because you're flying and weaving around some plasma stuff, but for you it's only going to be a difficulty 3.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, then okay, so I subtract my reason and what?
No, so you add your reason and your con.
Okay.
And then you roll 2 dice and try to get that number or lower.
Okay.
I know it's backwards.
I got
every
a 3
other game.
on my first die.
That's awesome for multiple reasons.
All right, and then I got a 13 on my second die.
Okay, so your reason and con, I believe, is way more than that. Yeah, so you only needed a 14. Yeah, so you would have had 2 successes, but because you have under one of your focuses, small craft, you are currently flying a small craft. Anytime you roll a 4 or less on that particular check, it actually counts as 2 successes. So you actually got all 3 successes already by yourself. You are that good a pilot. So you're like weaving this runabout in, no problem, amongst the plasma trails.
I think I should be like white knuckling it though, because like I really actually hate this. I used to love adventure, and now I'm just turning into Bones McCoy as fast as possible.
No.
Like I've never seen that before. It's not like a wondrous statement of my values. It's like I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
I gotta just deal with this.
Okay, perfect. So so the ensign, you guys, the rest of the crew are like, wow, this is a talented pilot with probably no idea that this ensign is like, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. So now so the runabout itself now can try to help.
Okay. Do I need a narrative reason to do that?
No. If you want to, no. You know what? You can just roll as well. Yeah, you've got the runabout helping, and you've got yourself on ops helping. So there are 2 extra dice here. You might get some more momentum.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just 2 d20.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you're making a test. Sorry, no, you're doing 1 d20 because you're assisting.
Oh, okay.
And then 1 for me, right?
Yeah. So Brandon, you are basically being the runabout, and Frunk is trying to help, like with the sensors or.
I got a 12.
Okay, and Brandon?
5 on the die for me.
Okay, perfect. So you scored 2 extra momentum. That was as painless as it could possibly be to everyone but poor Ensign West. Once you catch sight of the ship, it is clear that something has gone pretty wrong. Not only are they not answering hails, neither of the nacelles are lit up. The deflector dish doesn't seem to be lit up. And the ship is just sort of hanging there beside the storm front. And the moment you see the storm front, it's clear that there's something going on in the plasma storm itself. So normally plasma storms, as they spin and twist and send out their weird tendrils of flaming gaseous plasma, have kind of an hourglass shape to them. Instead, what you're looking at looks kind of like a bulb of plasma gas, and it's kind of holding itself together, and it's rotating, but it's rotating quite slowly. And this is not the way that plasma storms function. And what's even stranger is it seems to be pushing away some of the other minor twists of plasma that are visible, and somehow it's holding itself together. And now you can approach the Cassini in your runabout.
Yeah, let's approach slowly. And while we're approaching, I want to request Dr. Lyle and Lieutenant Lavore to come up to the cockpit to take a look at this.
Yeah, wow, that's certainly something.
I kind of want you to have a replicated beer.
No worries.
I was
the
wondering.
Doesn't put any alcohol in it.
No, that's a regulation that's it doesn't matter. I was wondering if you might be able to give us a slightly more detailed assessment of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really seen a shape like that. See, most of Starfleet's main interest in plasma storms, obviously, comes from the point of view of predicting them so people can fly around them, or protecting our ships from them with updated shield technology and stuff. There was the start of a research program on dissipation of plasma storms by directed energy bursts through a collector system. Unfortunately, my funding for proceeding on that project and the obvious next steps of that project were denied. So all I can say is that to me, this looks like an unusual plasma storm. And I think at the moment, I would like to study it more closely, but we might die.
Did you want to sit down at the science station and scan it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to scan it, and I would like everybody, in the runabout to stop giving me that look. I said might die, not will die.
Okay, so to do a quick scan of it, again, the runabout is not a science vessel. It's not set up to be a science vessel. It's not terrible, but so I need you to make a reason plus science task. And again, the runabout is going to help you. And that's a computers plus science for whoever wants to be the runabout. The runabout's computers plus science score is an 8. But Lieutenant Tethys Lyle also has technical expertise. So whenever you're using a computer or sensors of a ship, which you are doing right now, you get to roll an extra D20. So you actually get to roll 3 of them. You are looking at a gaseous anomaly, which is one of your focuses. So this, this reason and science check, what's your reason? Your reason is 10 and your science is 5. So you need a 15 or less, but every 5 or less you get will count as 2 successes. So you've got a chance to learn a lot here. The interference makes it a little bit tricky to get an accurate reading. So it's got a difficulty of 1 instead of nothing to scan it, but there you go. Go ahead. Yep, so you have 3 and then the ship will help you with 1 more.
Does someone else want to roll for the runabout? I feel like I'm dominating.
Somebody beat the ship. Okay, hang on. Okay, sides on a dice 20. Sorry, I'm using one of the emulators. Number of dice 3. 17, 12, 4.
Okay, so the good news is your 4 gets you 2 successes because of your focus, and the 17 is that's okay. So you've got 3 successes. So you've already succeeded by 2 more than you need. So there's 2 momentum there. Let's have the ship.
Momentum caps at 5 still, right?
Oh yes, you can't have more than 5 at a time, can you? Yeah. But you're about to have a really good opportunity to spend some of it.
Okay.
Oh, good. That's good to know.
Well, no, when you do research like this, you get to ask questions. Actually, Darcie, did you want to be the runabout? Just roll 1 die 20.
Sure, let me do that. 20.
Okay, awesome.
That was a waste.
So we have our first complication. So that's cool. I could explain how that works. So when you roll a natural 20, there's some sort of downside. So here's what we're going to do. I get to offer you a downside. You guys can either accept it or you can let me just change it into 2 points of threat, which is something I can bank for later. So the downside I'm going to give you is, yes, you can have this scan, and yes, Dr. Lyle can spend some of the momentum to ask questions as much as he'd like. But after that, there's some weird feedback that ricochets up the sensor readings and it fries the sensors.
Premee, why are you excited about this?
That was a movement of rage. No, I need my sensors.
Okay, so we'll just take the 2 threat then. All right.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
All right, so the first thing I can tell you about that from the sensor result is there is the motion of it and the sort of structure of it, the fact that it's holding itself together, are both caused by what seems to be some sort of lattice of electrochemical reaction that's happening inside. So if this is sort of the outer layer, if you think of it like an onion, a few layers in there's this weird lattice, and you're not sure. It could be artificial, and if it is artificial, If it was to stop, you have a feeling the storm would just go. And if you want to spend more momentum, you can. And every one you spend, you get to ask me a question. I can't mislead you, and I have to answer helpfully. So don't feel it's like a trick, like in D&D, we're getting a wish or something like that. Like I do have to be helpful if you spend momentum.
We are capped at our momentum of 5, so I think it's okay to spend at least 1.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me.
So what would you like to know? What question do you have?
Would I don't know how to phrase this. So the lattice that is, I guess, holding the storm place or containing the storm, does its presence explain like the apparent lack of power in the Cassini? Is there an obvious connection between the two?
Oh, okay. No.
I'm assuming that if that question is okay with everybody else.
Yeah. No, as far as you could tell, there's no relationship whatsoever. Even just looking out the window, there's no damage visible on the Cassini, and it looks like it's in perfect shape. It almost just looks like it's been switched off.
Weird. Okay.
Weird.
Did you want to spend another point to ask another question, or?
I have a media question in mind. What do you
Yeah,
guys?
While we ponder that, can I run a quick use the sensors to scan the Cassini to see if there's any sort
Yes.
of like electrical signatures or anything?
Nice.
Perfect. Go right ahead. It's the same. It's a reason in science to use the sensors. And the ship will help you with a roll of 10 or less, which anyone else can do.
We already scanned for life signs, right?
No, we're doing that right now.
Yeah, we
2 and a 4.
Okay, so that gets you back up to. There's no point in rolling the rest because you're back up to 5 with that. Yes, there are life signs on the ship. They are slightly depressed, and I don't mean in like they're upset or anxious way. I mean that their readings are a bit lower than usual. So you've got life signs, electrical and power systems. As far as you could tell, it looks like the ship has minimal power. Your engineering self would say that things are running on backups, maybe.
When you say that the life signs on the ship are depressed, do you mean that like the quantity is lower, like there's fewer life signs, or is it like they're just not coming in as strong?
Yeah, they're coming in slightly less strong. There's the 142 people who are supposed to be on board, or sorry, 140, whatever it is, minus you 5. You've got the right number, but it's like they're soft or they're. Who has Starfleet protocol? I believe Lavore does. Or oh no, it's Commander Ortho.
Yeah, I've got Starfleet protocol.
Protocol would kick in at this point and say that could be a medical issue. So beaming aboard would be a bad idea, but the shuttle, if you can manage to land the shuttle, you could scan from the shuttle once you're inside the shuttle bay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking, this is setting up all sorts of alarm bells of like, our comrades might be in trouble. So I'm going to suggest, and every time Ortho issues an order, it's a suggestion. But that if we can steer around, or Ensign West, is it possible to steer around and land us in the shuttle bay?
It is possible. It's going to be one of these things like, so everything about this mission so far is like your nightmare, it seems, because you're going to have to override the shuttle bay computer remotely. You're going to have to try to land a large runabout in a smaller shuttle bay. And you're going to do all of that without the tractor beam, the inertial dampener, landing pad. But you know what? If anyone could do this, you've done all these things like recently, like as much as last week on holodeck and simulations. Like this is the kind of stuff you were trained to do.
Yeah, I loved this once.
I actually say out loud. Well, we've got the newest, best, and brightest pilot out of Starfleet Academy, so that we're going to be in good shape, right, Wes?
Yes, sir.
My Ferengi ears pick up like the micro sound of Ash gritting teeth. Like,
yeah.
I'm also picturing Lavore going, "Okay, I'm not good at human, but that body language is way off."
All right. Given how complicated you said this was, does this now warrant saying I was born to fly?
Probably not actually, because of
Oh.
your array of talents. Like when I say that your character is designed to be
Okay.
a brilliant pilot, this is what you're in for.
Got it. Oh, okay. So
Also,
this is regular crap for me.
yeah.
Just
All
Tuesday.
right.
It's the kind of thing that if one of the other characters tried to do it would be difficult, but
Okay.
you've kind of got
Right.
this.
Okay, new angle then. It's more
Yeah.
like, yeah, listen, this is all Starfleet tech. The anomaly's over there.
Yeah.
So like, I'm fine interacting with the tech part.
All right. Okay, so you can have two people assisting you on this. Again, you've got the operations officer beside you, and there's also the ship itself. So
Can I get some help unlocking the
that is probably what you should pass to Lieutenant Commander Frunk. Yes, that's a control and engineering task. It would normally be assisted by the Cassini's computers, but they're not going to help you. So it's a difficulty of 2 with the control engineering, but it is computers, which is your thing, right? So if you succeed at that, I will let his task be a little bit easier.
So I do have so I have computer expertise and I know my ship. Could I say that I know runabouts really, really well, and I can tinker with the computer systems to make sure that they are picking up like the sensitivity needed to navigate through just such a narrow space.
Yeah, perfect.
I
will let you do that. Absolutely.
Okay, so does that make it 3 D20?
Yep, you can do that. Yep.
Let's do it. And you said it's reason engineering?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, sorry, control engineering. This is
Control
fine-tuning
engineering.
stuff. This isn't. Yep.
Okay, so that's 14. 1, 10, and 18.
Nice. Okay, so you Ensign West, they see this beautiful path lit up on the navigational, and you watch as the rear doors of the shuttle bay like widen, and the force field has snapped in place, so the safety systems are still functioning, at least on a bare basis. So yeah, you are clear to land, which will be a control and con task. Now, normally this would be a difficult 4, given everything that's going on, but you already make that 1 easier with your talents, and Frunk just made it even easier, so you only need 2 successes for this. And this is command and con. Control and con.
Okay, how many dice do I get there?
2 dice, and you're looking at trying to get a 15 or less.
All right, on both of them.
Well, you want 2 successes. So if you wanted to, you could absolutely grab a dice by spending 1 momentum, and then you'll have 3. So if you want to, you guys, spend a momentum, then you get to roll 3 of them.
Okay, all right.
And then if you succeed on even one of them, then the ship will help you as well.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, I got a 6.
1.
13 and a 10.
Okay, so you're all good. You don't even need the runabout's help. But who wants
really
to be the runabout?
that one up for me?
Actually, it doesn't matter. I think that puts you back at 5 momentum, so we don't have to roll the runabout. So you managed to land the runabout into this narrow shuttle bay. It's not designed to carry these large things until at least season 5 of Voyager. And you you sort of park the runabout in a narrow spot.
I used to parallel park on Earth.
Yeah. So for the rest of you, you watch as they land the firebag just like brilliantly. This runabout lands perfectly, and almost immediately, probably I'm guessing Arthro and Lavore are both staring through the windows like, what the hell is going on? Lavore, you have Vulcan senses and perception. You notice right away there are 2 figures slumped against the control panels at the far end of the main shuttle bay. So it might behoove you guys to close the door and make sure, if that force field were to give away, that would be very bad right now.
Do they seem to be wearing Starfleet uniforms? Are they in red? Like
yeah. They're in yellow, which is the equivalent of the red. Just at a glance, oh, you said, Arthur, you said you were reading up on the ship and everybody, and that's how you were spending your
Oh, gods,
time?
yeah.
Okay, all right. So you can tell that that's there's an ensign and a crewman. There's a trill. Like the woman seems to be a trill, and the human you can't quite get a good glimpse of. But you only know of one trill serving currently on the Cassini, and she's not joined, which is just random fact. But she's a shuttle maintenance engineer, so it makes absolute sense that she is here. So this doesn't seem to be like a boarding party or anything like that. Okay. Frunk, I'm just going to let you close the door. That's easy enough to do from inside with the computer already, slaved to what's going on. And that will actually end our first scene. You've made it back onto the Cassini. That was like my little teaser scene, like the beginning of an episode. You arrive, you land the shuttle, and oh my God, everyone's lying there. So at the end of a scene, you do bleed away 1 point of momentum, but you get to keep the rest. So, starting again, you're in the runabout. There's a bit of a limit to what you can see, but do you want to just leap out, or do you want to?
Can we scan for anything in the air in the ship? Anything like maybe there's something that we shouldn't be breathing if we go out there that would explain our two incapacitated comrades?
Absolutely. So anybody can use the sensors or a tricorder. Frankly, at this point, you're right beside the.
Lavore as our tactical officer, and take a look at if we'll get killed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, okay, all right. I've been trying to keep like a Vulcan face throughout this thing.
I noticed that every time I look at your screen, Darcie, I'm like, oh man, she's got this.
All right. Still that. Yeah, Lavore is going to use the tricorder and trying to look for anything in the air.
So that's really simple. It's a reason and medical task, but the difficulty is 0. So you just have to, so you're going to roll the 2 dice anyway. Any successes you have add to your momentum, but you could have a complication or a failure. So it's your choice. When I say something's difficulty 0, you can choose to just succeed. And not have a chance at a complication or more momentum. You currently have 4 momentum, I think. So that's
a lot. I'm going to go succeed this.
All right. So yeah, you scan the oxygen on the other side, or the atmosphere on the other side of the runabout. It is absolutely flooded with neurazine and axanol, which are 2 heavy-duty medical anesthetics. You also know that it's the wrong kind of anesthetic. So as a tactical officer, you have the ability to flood various parts of the ship from the bridge with something else, not those drugs. So something is really weird out there. Obviously, you don't want to crack the doors until you guys have some oxygen masks. Plus side, the runabout comes complete with emergency gear, so you can each slap on a face mask for oxygen before you step outside.
Yeah, Lavore reports this to Lieutenant Commander and the others, and does note that it is not their, this seems to be external. It's not the type of anesthetic that the ship releases. Yes, wear those oxygen masks, unless you want to end up like those 2 outside. Of course, she doesn't say it that way because.
Commander Frunk, were there any life signs that were elevated? Any chance that there is a boarding party that gassed the place?
Was there anything in the report with that?
Not that you saw, but again, you were doing a life sign scan inside another ship from a runabout designed to be a passenger carrier.
Does the runabout have transporters?
It does. It absolutely does. So they come equipped with a transporter pad that can transport 2 people at a time.
So I would suggest we beam those 2 people into the runabout, and then we open up the shuttle bay doors to let the gas out, like drop the force field and depressurize it and then repressurize it.
Yeah.
Nice.
That would tell us if our atmospheric systems are covered in this gas.
Right. Okay.
Oh,
So, yep. So transporting someone to a transporter pad is an engineering control task, control engineering, and the difficulty is normally 3, but you're using a transporter pad, so it's 2. I believe that's how that works.
So I have a 10 and a 4.
And you're assisted by the runabout's computer and sensors, I think.
Okay.
No, sensors. Oh, God. I don't remember how beaming works. I'm sorry. It's sensors and something.
For anyone who has not played this game before, this is the book for it. There's a lot in there.
All right. So I roll 2 d20.
Yep.
Okay. 14 and 7. So that's 2 successes.
Okay, so you definitely have enough to beam them on board. They energize the slumped Trill and slumped human. This is Ensign Lidrick Helen. She's an unjoined Trill. Right away, Ortho, you notice her spots are like an ochre brown instead of the dark brown that they should be. And the other guy is crewman John Escobar. He's just he's a male shuttle technician, human dude who likes to tinker with the shuttles. It's not unusual for them to have been in the shuttle bay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that try. Yeah, I'll mention to the others that with my background or previous background in medicine, yeah, the discoloration on the ensign spots is a sign of heavy anesthetic. So that tracks with what we detected in the atmosphere.
I'm going to make it a difficulty 1 task to bypass the force field because the computer really doesn't want to do that. You're like opening the doors and letting all the oxygen out. And again, that'll be. I'm going to let you use the runabouts computers to do that. You're basically patching it in because right now you're getting nothing from the Cassini's computer.
Weird.
Is that also control engineering?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you've got computers involved and the runabouts computers.
Oh
you,
no,
so.
I don't know how this works, but I got a 20 and a 1.
Okay,
Oh.
so you've done 2 things. You have succeeded and also given me the option for a complication. And here's what's going to happen. You absolutely get the force field down. The ambient oxygen environment is blown right out into space. At the last second, you remember that you didn't actually have any assisting docking technology when you landed the runabout, which includes the mag clamps. So your runabout starts to skid and slide and turn sideways and slams into one of the walls. You scraped it up. You probably damaged it. But
can I do anything to counteract that?
No, well, okay, this is what I'm offering you as the complication. You guys can decide if you want to keep this or not. Basically, I'm going to say that getting the runabout out is now going to be very difficult. It is wedged in sideways. It's scraped along the wall. If that's a big enough complication that you guys want to cash it in for 2 threat, I'm fine with that. But you can.
We can lose the deposit.
Would my born near a warp core ability, could I apply that here?
No, it has to be you rolling.
It has to be me rolling.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man. I say we go with
I'm
the
just
threat.
going around apologizing to everyone. I like need to please people right now. I was like, I'm so sorry. How did I not even think about that?
It's fine. I mean, technically everything we just did is so far against protocol. I don't even know where to begin, but I'm not going to put it in the log. It'll be fine.
You're not going to put it in the log, but that's how these 2 ships got rammed when I was piloting.
I'm sure that maybe we'll sort this out after.
Lavore does not see anything, but I think that's going to get an eyebrow raise for y'all.
Ooh, the eyebrow went up. Okay. So
I certainly appreciate Lieutenant Lavore's enthusiasm for the truth.
Putting the force field back in place is easy because that's what the sister ship wants to do. And you wait for the atmosphere to cycle, take another reading with the tricorder, and that worked. You can step outside without masks. However, as soon as you open the doors to the shuttle bay into the ship, that will be a different environmental system. So you've gotten yourselves access to the Cassini's computer. Like you can go to the wall unit and like actually access the computer and start seeing what's going on. But you might want to take the oxygen masks in case.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
I would suggest maybe Lieutenant Lavore takes point just in case. And then I can bring up the rear.
Okay.
And watch our backs just in case.
So you pop the back of the runabout, which goes clunk, scrape all the way up the wall. Fire bag is bagged. And then you step out into the main shuttle bay. Everything else looks correct at a glance. Like the shuttle pods are there, the 2 Class 2 shuttles are there. Whatever happened here, it doesn't seem to be violent. Okay, so Lieutenant Commander Frunk, when you get yourself over to the computers, it's really easy to see what's going on, or rather, it's really easy to see what's not going on. The ship can't do anything right now. The computers are down, and the LCAR system is offline.
Okay.
So you're running on nothing.
Yeah, I remember you emailed me the thing,
Yes.
but so I think it was basically like I can have the station like recalled like the last command that was input. Is that right?
So yeah, so basically the LCAR system is the Library Computer Access and Retrieval System. So it takes all the information from all over the ship and collates it for you. When it's offline, it means that you can look at any monitor and you can see what the last commands were in that monitor, and that's about it. So if you were on the bridge, you could see the last thing the con tried to do, or the last thing the tactical station tried to do. If you were in main engineering, you might see what some of the power transfers, but right now you have no way to access what was happening anywhere else.
So does it just look like flat black glass, or?
No, it's all showing everything is in like a backup or a standby or an offline mode. Everything is working on backups. And tertiary systems. Like Starfleet is all about having a backup and then a tertiary and then like an emergency, and everything's basically in emergency mode. So that's why there's air circulating at all, even though it was loaded with knockout gas apparently. So yeah, you have a couple of options here. You might want to try to flush the environment outside the door, or that's going to be difficult. The best place that you could maybe make a difference would probably be main engineering, which luckily enough on an Intrepid class ship is 1 deck down from here. It's not that far. And that would give you...
Do we have access to like Jeffrey's tubes where we could actually crawl to the deck?
Yep, you absolutely could, because right now the turbolifts aren't going to get you anywhere either.
Right. But as soon as if we open the hatch for the Jeffrey's tubes, more gas going to leak into the shuttle bay.
Yep. Yeah, you'll be dealing with whatever atmosphere is beyond the door. Yeah.
I mean, depends on how much. Yeah, I'm wondering if we have to come back. Do we want to try to keep part of the ship not filled with gas? Could we beam into main engineering?
2 at a time.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, never mind. Yeah, no, don't split the party. D&D rules.
Yep. I say we just crawl on in there.
Yeah, we'll just crawl. Yeah.
Okay, so masks on, and in you go.
Was there anything of note on the bay's station panel that we could pull up like on its last thing?
The last thing that was a manual diagnostic that was run like 7 hours ago, because that's what every day you're supposed to do it every once a day. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so getting yourselves to main engineering is an army crawl through some tubes. When you arrive in main engineering, you've got a very similar scene as in the main shuttle bay. There are 5 unconscious members of engineering here instead of just 2. And the atmosphere is just as flooded with neurozine and axonol. Of the most immediate concern would probably be flushing the environment, because your masks are only going to give you half an hour of oxygen before you need to change the little canister. And doing that will be a control and engineering task with the difficulty of 1, and the ship will not be helping you because everything's on a local backup mode.
Is it me as the engineer for that?
Yeah, well, it's an insight and engineering task. Anybody can do it, but it's kind of your bag.
Okay, so that's also that's still at 14. Okay.
Frunk, you're earning your keep today.
18-1. I'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you managed to flush the local atmosphere. It is harder than it should have been. You're like, oh my God, is this what it's like to run a Intrepid class ship without the damn computer? Like this is not pleasant. But you flushed and main engineering. You can turn off your masks and use them later if you need them.
Can we recharge them anyway?
Yeah, you could easily grab a new canister. There's emergency kits in most of the main areas on the Intrepid class ships. So you've got, there's like a med kit over there. There's, you know,
Do the replicators
breathing
work?
gear. No. Once Frunk has a moment to go to the main engineering panel, the short answer is nothing is working. And I mean that. Let me find my little list of
I would like to
systems.
check the 5 people here for like head injuries.
Sure.
Mm.
So that will be a tricorder with a reason plus medical. Whoever would like to start scanning people can do it.
I'm not good at it, so if one of you sees me messing it up, feel free to come and correct.
I'm surprisingly good at that, so I can give you a hand.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm
do it.
just standing there with the phaser, like keeping one eye on the guest we have over here and
Yes,
another eye on Bill.
Thank you, Lamar.
All right, so yeah, if you want to do a quick tricorder scan, actually you can assist Ensign West. They could help you.
There we go. I'll help you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. So
wonderful.
that means Brandon, you're rolling 2 dice, and then Alex, you're rolling 1.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll just go straight up.
Okay,
Look
so
at
it
my
was
photos.
medical and reason. Is that
Yep.
it?
Yeah, medical and reason.
Okay. Oh, 17. I didn't get it.
Okay, that's fine.
Luckily, mine. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm like not checking for like the right kinds of contusions and stuff. I'm like, are you dead? No, this guy's not dead.
Oh, that's the noise it makes when they're alive. That's great.
Yeah, making alive noises. I'm like, he's fine, and you're like, that's not what that means.
Do we know, or does anyone know, like any one of us who's actually like conscious and moving around? So these 2 anesthetics, you said, are not normally used
No.
for like
So
subduing
Lavore,
large groups of people or whatever. Do we know what they are normally used for?
Yep. And Brandon, do your
Do I have to,
scan,
like, roll for
and
that?
then I could give you the same answer out of that. Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so my reason and medicine is 14, and I rolled a 6 and a 5. So
Okay, perfect. Okay, so you had the 2 successes. That's 1 extra. So I will actually let you use one of the momentum right now to ask the question that Dr. Lyle just asked, if you want, because that
I
makes
would
sense.
love to.
Okay.
And if I can use my studious
Yeah.
to get
So
an
you actually get 2
extra
questions. Yes.
Yeah. So if anyone has a second question,
Yeah.
toss it.
So first answer is they are fine. A couple of people have like some bumps and scrapes, which would make sense for people who lost consciousness while they were standing. But they're fine. You might want to move some of them because some of them are like, you know, jammed up funny on a console. It's the assistant engineer, 2 ensigns, and 2 crewmen. It's a little weird that the chief engineer is not here. The assistant engineer is the only person here that's of rank, a lieutenant. You do know Axonol and Nurzine. You know them from your times in emergency medical situations. They are used for like intense surgery situations. So these people are not going to wake up for like a good 10, 11 hours unless you come up with something major. Like they have been dosed to the gills with a drug that is usually used for like heart replacement or yeah. Another question?
Yeah. Anyone have something else?
No, that's weird though.
That is weird.
Well, what kind of specialized profession? I mean, yeah, we know that this is surgery, but like, what kind? Like, is this a normal surgical procedure, or is this a like, you know, like, I want to know what kind of a professional would think to access this.
Yeah, who might have access to it? Yeah.
There is one place you could get this on this ship, and that is sickbay.
Okay.
And I'll give you this for free. To then flood it through the ship, though, someone would have to access environmental controls on deck 8.
And would there be enough in sickbay to fill the volume of a ship, or are we having a bunch of replicated gas up in here?
I will answer that for another momentum point.
Ooh, yeah, can we spend it? Because
Yeah.
I have real follow on kind of questions here.
Um, you're probably looking at the results of the entire emergency supply of both drugs.
Okay.
Like the Cassini is not a medical ship. In fact, as a ship assigned to pathfinding and reconnaissance, it doesn't actually have a lot of oomph to its sickbay compared to a lot of Federation ships. That said, it does have the emergency medical hologram, but it doesn't have like a huge medical staff. You have a doctor and a nurse and a medical tech. That's it.
So conceivably, it would have been flooded with gas on hand, as opposed to us going around checking replicator logs for a suspect.
Correct.
With the computers down, where we can only check every console manually.
Oh my god.
Let's just go room to room and it'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to ask. So we're still in engineering, right?
Yeah, you're in main engineering.
Have we learned anything from the console here, or are we still poking people with our tricorders?
Well, that was what Ensign West and Lieutenant Commander Ortho were doing. So no, that's fine. Lieutenant Lavore, you said you wanted to basically be aware of what the heck is going on and
Yes,
watching. Okay, you have, and actually Frunk would definitely pick this up as well. When you first walked in here, it stopped now, but you could have sworn you heard like a high-pitched something for just a second. Frunk, you have more of it. The hearing of a Ferengi is amazing. There was a weird high-pitched noise, definitely beyond the range of human and Bolian hearing, and it didn't last very long. And you're not sure it actually came from in the room. You're guessing it actually came from either like beyond the doors from main engineering, or maybe even from one of the turbolifts. You're not sure, or the Jeffries tube. You're not entirely sure what direction that was coming from. Harmonics on Intrepid class ships were not designed for anything spectacular, so it's not always easy for you to figure out which way a sound is coming from. But it was very weird. It was like a super high-pitched noise. It's not the kind of thing you've heard before, but it's done now. And if you want to explore that, you can, or you can head on over to the main engineering panel and figure out what the hell's happening to the ship.
Space vets. Well, I mean, Lavore would look over to Frunk because, being aware that among all the people there,
Was there
probably
a
has the
general
best hearing.
was there a general direction that I could identify it?
If you had to guess, it was from in the hallway, not the Jeffries tubes.
Okay.
So on the deck.
I
hate the Jeffries tubes.
I would just wave my tricorder in that direction to see if it picks up any sort of I guess signs of movement, heat, anything like that.
Okay. That's tricorder is a reason and engineering, I believe.
Okay, 8 and 4. And then I got 5 and 15. So
okay.
1 success.
You didn't catch any movement, no. And no immediate explanation comes to mind. It is possible that something in the ship just went fweet. It could be the equivalent of something settling or gas shifting or something.
So I'm just going to inform the party of what I heard and to keep an ear out for it. But I think we'll just keep that in mind as we move on.
Okay, so the main computer is completely offline, and getting it back online is going to take some time and effort. This is what's called an extended task. If you want to think about it in other role-playing game terms, it's kind of like this task has hit points that you're trying to get rid of. And so when you succeed at this task, you'll be able to roll some dice, which then go against the hit points until you break it down and get past it. Each attempt to work on this will take 2 units of time or 2 intervals of time. I'm not telling you how much time you have until something happens. So it's up to you how quickly you want to pace yourselves on this one and who's being assigned to what. But getting the main computer back online will make everything else easier. You could, if you want to, jump straight to trying to restore the turbolifts or restore the environmental system so you can flush the air on everywhere else in the ship, but that's going to be much, much harder if you don't put the computers back online first.
Hey, this is Star Trek. There might have been a reason those computers were offline that our people intended. So before we turn them on, can we look and see if the master console has shut down computer as the last command? Because if so, Don't turn it on.
That's a good point.
Let's
That's a
do
good
that
point.
because there may be a reason, possibly, that all these people have been knocked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Right,
the reason is.
Like,
I'm sure it's a
right, like
lovely
what if
reason.
they're all like, you know?
Yeah.
What if it's like the naked
Like that.
now? They were
Oh,
just
yeah.
super horny.
That's a problem. Yeah, we don't want
I
that.
hope they're not
I don't
busting
need
up our
Boimler
shuttle
with
while
his
they're in there.
legs.
Oh my god.
That shuttle's got enough problems.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Let's do that.
All right, so looking at the main engineering console, it actually looks like the last command that was entered here was indeed to lock the computer into a manual diagnostic mode. So someone decided to take the whole ship offline.
Wait,
Okay.
And is there any way to see who made that command, like an ID?
Yep. So you are a security officer, so you can absolutely just flat out ask. Well, you would ask the computer, but you're going to have to kind of do it manually to dig in. The assistant engineer approved it.
Assistant engineer, and is the assistant engineer one of the people that I remember someone was missing, but that was the chief, right?
Yeah. So the chief engineer is missing. The assistant engineer is on the floor here, and
Ooh.
her name. I actually did look. This is embarrassing. I hate naming characters. So every single character you're going to bump into, if they're a human, is named after one of the stunt actors from Star Trek.
oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
That's better
So,
than
yeah.
like cheese McMuffin.
Yeah. So this is So Lieutenant Junior Grade Natalia Diaz is the assistant engineer. She's here. She's unconscious, and
Get used to it.
it was her command to lock the computers into a diagnostic mode.
All right. So I will inform the others that Lieutenant Diaz was the one who locked the computers. Make of that what you will.
I will remind you that that everyone who has been knocked out has about 10 or 11 hours of unconsciousness on them as well.
Yeah.
Does can Vulcan's mind meld with an unconscious person?
Ooh.
Wow.
I play this game a lot.
Mike, that is wondrous.
So two things. One, I'm sure it would be medically unsound. And two, that would be up to Lieutenant Lavore, and you basically just asked her, like, hey, do you want to share your innermost everything with this unconscious person you barely know? So I'll pass it on to Lavore.
Fair point.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
I think Lavore is going to suggest that they think of another way.
This is why you're friends with your guitar, by the way.
Okay, would the I'm kind of thinking my extensive study of Starfleet protocols, would the assistant engineer shutting down the computer, would that be a logical step to keep someone else from using the computers using the ship for some sort of nefarious purpose? Like, it might not be there's anything wrong with the computer, it might have been to keep someone else out.
It would be a bit of a panicky move or a very last ditch effort, but yeah, absolutely. If you crash the computer, then even if people board the ship, they're going to have to take at least an hour or two to get everything back up and running. So if they thought that they were under threat, maybe.
With the main computer offline, how difficult would it be to there's internal cameras and stuff, right? How difficult would it be to access a camera of what happened in the room? That's probably really difficult without the main computer.
Yeah, no, not without LCARs.
Well, if they were holding out in here for any reason, then going into the hallway will quickly answer that question.
Oh, that's a good point.
Do they appear extra armed, like they were barricaded in there?
Nope.
Okay.
Ah, so they sort of
No
casually
phasers.
did this.
Yeah, no phasers. No. Yep.
I'm leaning with restoring the main computer.
Yeah.
It's also the only way you'll have access to sensors to keep an eye on that twirling storm that's outside, just to remind you.
The anomaly.
West, how did you forget?
Never forget the anomaly.
A plot meets B plot.
Yeah, I think the need of the computer outweighs the potential risk of it.
Okay, so restoring the main computer. The way it works in this game is like 2 people can work on something. If you add more people to help them, it also increases the chances of complications. It's the
So
too many
realistic.
cooks. Yeah.
Perfect.
So what this is going to take is, and you can give me other combinations if you think that you have an approach that makes sense. But as a default, I'm going to say this will take a daring or a control plus engineering right now because you're trying to get the computers back. It has a base difficulty of 2. But this is an extended task with a work track of 10. What that means is there's like 10 hit points to it. And it also has a resistance of 1 and a magnitude of 2. So that's a whole bunch of numbers. Every time one of you tries to work on this, or if 2 of you work on it together, if you succeed, you will be able to roll a number of 6-sided dice equal to your discipline plus 2. So say your engineering is 5. Or I think actually your engineering is 4, isn't it, Frank? So you would be able to then roll 6 of those die 6s, and that will sort of fight against the resistance of the task, which is 1. So if you roll 4 successes, you actually get 3, and that goes towards knocking away those 10 hit points. If you do exceptionally well, you can actually punch higher than your weight and get through this faster. That's just if you score 5 or more successes even after the resistance. So you might want to put your 2 best engineers on it, is what I'm saying.
So I have a focus of Starship computer systems, and I have a talent of both computer expertise and I know my ship. So the talent, could I bring in an additional D20 with that?
You absolutely can. Yeah,
Okay.
This is where you're shining here. This is you trying to program or restore the computer. So ideally you would be the primary character here rolling dice because you're going to get to roll 3 of them as is.
Okay.
Dr. Lyle, could any of your expertise give us a hand here?
Oh, you're
you
muted.
Lyle's muted.
Sorry, I'm looking at my character sheet. So is that, sorry, are we asking for talents or?
Well, yeah, you actually also have technical expertise.
I have technical expertise.
And your engineering is 3, which isn't bad. So
Yeah.
you could definitely help. Yep. So it would be a. So here's the thing.
What's your control at there?
Control is 9, daring is 11.
Nice.
So you could choose to do this as a daring thing, which would mean you're kind of like, I'm going to wing it. I'm going to fly at it. I'm going to like
Executed a
reroute.
lot while working on computers, yeah.
If you want to, you'd be like, oh yes, I'll help you, and then rush off, and the other people are like, why are you attaching a phaser to the power cell?
Yeah, go for it.
It worked last time.
All right, so let's start with Mike's roll.
Let me check. Our momentum is down to 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I meant to remind myself or remind Lieutenant Commander Orthro.
Oh.
You have a thing called time management.
Oh, yes, that's right.
So when I'm saying that every attempt at fixing this computer will require 2 time units, you have an ability, you have your time management. So if you kind of do a control command, if you basically boss everyone around and tell them an efficient method, or like you divide the team up and explain what they should be doing, if you make a control plus command with a difficulty of 3, and nobody can help you with that, but your control and command is 13. And you've got Starfleet protocols. I would allow Starfleet protocols to hit this for a focus.
Nice.
So if you manage to get 3 successes, then for the duration of them trying to put the computer back together, they actually would only use up 1 time interval for every attempt.
Perfect.
If you fail, they will use up 3.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
And you can buy extra dice with momentum, or you can give me threat. Either way.
Yeah, threaten
We have
him.
3 momentum.
We have 3 momentum. If it buys
You
us
are the
time,
senior officer.
That's true. That thing. Yep. I keep reminding myself of that. I'll spend a momentum to give myself 1 more die, and I want to roll it.
Okay, so now you have to go first. So you're doing your 3 dice.
Yeah. 4 because you gave me 1 for Starfleet Protocol, right?
No, that's just a focus. That lets you.
Oh, that's just a focus.
Yeah, that means that if you roll a 5 or less, you'll get 2 successes.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So I'll do that, and yeah, if it succeeds, I'll tell you what Ortho's method of command is.
It's gonna be as Canadian as the rest of it.
I'm glad that you picked up on that.
You're the most Canadian Bolian I've ever met, sir.
All right, let's do this. Oh no.
What?
Hang on. Okay, so I got a 5. A 5 is good.
That's 2 successes.
Okay. I got a 19. A 19 is bad.
That's just a failure.
That's just a failure. And then the other one is a 15, which I think is also a failure.
Your command is.
My command is, what was it? Is 8
5, and your presence is 10. No, you got it. That's 15.
Oh, good.
So you just squeaked it through.
Oh, thank the gods.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you squeaked it through.
Politeness.
So okay. So what did you say to everybody to motivate them and organize?
Yeah,
them?
so Commander Ortho, after reading all this protocol stuff and noticing how often like Starfleet commanders are just kind of barking orders at people, his instead of like commanding, it's very encouraging. It's very Canadian school teacher of like, no, it's like, you got this. Like, just take your time. We got all the time in the world. I believe in your abilities. There's a reason why you're on the ship. That sort of bullshit.
We get
Which
stickers when we complete a task.
so many stickers and popsicles afterwards out of the replicator.
This makes Frunk feel so good and so loved.
Yeah, that's it. And
All right.
ironically gets you moving quicker.
All right. So Mike, go ahead. Roll for Frunk.
Okay, so that's 3d20.
Yep.
Okay. Oh fuck.
Oh no,
Oh,
dude.
no.
13, 20, and 6. So 2 successes and 1 fail.
Okay. So
man.
you did succeed enough, but you have created a complication, which I'll get to in a second. Dr. Lyle, go ahead and roll your dice to assist. Oh, you're muted again.
Sorry, what am I supposed to be rolling? Or remember-
You're going to do a daring and engineering, right?
Okay, so daring is 11 and engineering is 3, so that's 14. So I'm just rolling 1 or?
Yep, just 1. You're assisting. Yep.
Okay. I got a 7.
Okay, so you ended up with 3 successes, which means you get to roll. So you have succeeded. So you're going to be doing some of the work. So you're okay. What am I going to give you as a complication here? I will offer that in the process of doing this, you will make it more complicated to eventually bring the replicators back online.
Replicators. That means we're going to need them at some point.
That's exactly. Yeah, I'm getting that vibe. You can take 2 threat instead, or give Nathan 2 more threat.
What's
Although
our
we've done
threat-
that a lot.
Yeah, what's our threat level at right now?
Yeah,
I don't have to tell you. Isn't that awesome?
Oh,
Okay.
one of us should have been
Dang.
keeping track of this.
that was tricky. Nathan at the beginning, he says, like, hey, Mike, you keep track of the momentum. Don't
Yeah.
worry about the threat. I'm like, okay.
Oh sure, we got the fuck.
I say we take the complication.
Yeah, like with the encouragement of Ortho, I'm sure we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you get to you're going to roll your engineering. This is Frunk engineering +2 with the die 6s, and tell me how many successes you get.
Okay, so I'm just running a d6.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, it's the challenge dice. I don't know if you actually have the challenge dice or not.
So
If you do,
I use an emulator. So
Okay, yeah.
So my engineering's 4. So do I do 4 6s?
you do 6 of them. You always get 2 more when you
Okay.
succeed on these extended tasks.
Okay, so then I got 4 5 1 1 4 1.
Okay, so you got 3 successes. Because 5s are in effect. So you got 4 successes. Now, if you want to, you can spend momentum. I think you have 1 left to add 1 more work to it, or you could re-roll as many of those as you'd like.
I've counted. We have 2 momentum.
Okay, sure.
Left.
Yeah. So if you wanted to, you could spend the 2 right now and add 2 more work to your success, so that you would actually have 6, which after the resistance 1 would get you the 5, which is that magical number that causes this to get a little easier next time.
Should we go for it?
Dude, go for it. Go for broke.
Okay. So do I use 1 momentum or 2?
It's 2, because you'd have to add 2 work to
Okay.
get to 6
All right. So
work.
we are out of momentum. So I roll 2 more 6s.
No, you don't have to roll it. It just happens.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So the main computer is now half restored, and you only used 1 time to do it.
Fucked up.
Yeah, as you're working, like you hear like the little whining sound of the replicator, and there's just water pouring out of the nozzle onto the flat, onto the floor. It's like
the
there's no
lower
glass.
deck moment when the bananas just kept getting spit out of the replicator.
Yeah, are we just gonna have to say the temperature from everything from now on? Laser room
I would
temperature.
like a banana. Room temperature. Yeah. All right, so you can keep going, and it would basically be the exact same thing again. You're trying to like build up more of these work numbers, and the good news is this next time it'll still only take you 1 time unit. So you get to do it all over again. So go right ahead, Frunk and Dr. Lyle. So you're doing. So you're doing 2 dice. So you're doing 2 die 20, and Dr. Lyle's doing 1 die 20. But you then get your bonus 1 because you're dealing with the computer. So you've got 3 Mike and 1 for Dr. Lyle.
I got 4, 15, and 15.
So I believe that's actually 4 successes for you. I think.
Wait, so which one was it again? Is it control engineering?
Yeah, control engineering.
Oh, so yeah, that's 14. So that's 1 success.
Okay. So, but it's a 4 that you rolled, so it's 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because you have your focus.
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead, Dr. Lyle.
So it's just 120?
Yep.
Okay. I got an 11.
Okay. So that's enough to give you 3 successes, which is 1 more than you need. So you have another momentum back now. Nice. So now, once again, you're rolling the 6 die 6 to see how much work you accomplish.
Ortho still in the background is just like, this is amazing. This is the best engineering I've ever seen.
You're all doing such a good job. Rah rah.
Okay, so I got 4, 6, 2, 2, 3, 5.
Oh wow. Okay, so the 2 2s are worth 4. The 5 is worth 1, and the 5 is, so I think that was 6 in total.
Nice.
So you've done it. You don't have to worry.
Nice.
So you guys here in the background, you hear the computer rebooting. Things are coming back online, and in a remarkably short amount of time. That was about 10 minutes. When you would normally expect it to take 20, 25, half an hour to get the computer back online. Everything starts to light back up again. Unfortunately, absolutely every system is still offline. You're going to have to restore them one by one, and this is where you can actually break up a bit. So I'll give you a list of everything that is offline, and you can tell me where your characters are going to scatter, or what stations you're going to try to get to what you're going to work on, what you guys are prioritizing, and that'll keep eating into the time you have left. So you have no communications, which includes the universal translator. The LCARs and the computer logs, that's one thing. The holodeck, the transporters, the replicators, the engines, which includes like thrusters, inertial dampeners, impulse engines, warp drive, the internal sensors, the navigational sensors, the short range sensors, that would let you look at the anomaly outside.
Okay.
And long range sensors, maybe not a priority, who knows. The environmental systems, that would let you flush the air out of everywhere, and then you can actually get to other areas of the bridge, other areas of the ship, including the bridge. Turbo lifts, that would get you there much, much faster than crawling through the tunnels. Force fields, in case you want to lock someone somewhere. Shields, torpedoes, phasers, and the tractor beam. So
those shields
are those broken up into groups, or those?
So each one, so each one of those will take someone a little time to work on them, to bring them back. Now that said, Lieutenant Lavore could absolutely handle working on any of the security systems, and Lieutenant Lyle could work on any of the sensor systems. I'm going to let you guys swap out instead of using engineer to replace, because nothing's broken. It just needs to be rebooted through the diagnostic and brought back online. So you could have Lieutenant Lavore working on any of the like the shields first, and then maybe the phasers or whatever. And you could have Dr. Lyle working on the various sensors. You could have Ensign West working on the thrusters and then impulse engines, and like you all have stuff you're good at, except for maybe you, Lieutenant Commander Ortho, but you can help and organize.
Whoa. Whoa.
Or
I have a
Or
warp
if-
engine focus. Let's go.
or you could try to get to sickbay. So if you guys if someone works on the environmental systems, you could get more information from sickbay probably, because you do
Mhm.
have a crew member that would not be affected by gas. You have a holographic doctor.
There's a not a small part of me that wants us to get the EMH going just so Nathan has to play the EMH because I'm a monster.
Okay, so you can all pick something to work on. This is no longer a super difficult thing. You're it's going to take time. So if like I'm guessing, this is just like I'm saying I'm guessing, but I'm assuming you want to deal with the environmental controls first, so you don't have to keep wearing a mask when you're going everywhere on the ship.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so each of you gets to pick something you're working on. This is all going to happen in the same time slot. So I'll just go one by one through all of you once you decide what you'd like to do.
Does our commanding officer dictate it, or do we?
I'm happy to if folks would like me to, but feel free to suggest otherwise. Okay, the first one that came to aside from environmental, the first one that immediately came to mind to me was internal sensors. We need to know if somebody else is on the ship. So I don't know who. Like
Dr. Lyle could do that. Frunk could do that easily enough. Those are the
Okay.
two that are best set up for that.
I'm going to suggest Dr. Lyle focus on internal sensors, and then Frunk, I'm thinking thrusters at least, just in case we need to, West possibly thrusters, in case we need to push ourselves away from the unspoken thing near the ship. So
I mean, yeah, we might just want to get these people away from the plasma storm.
Yeah, just thinking that. So Wes, if you're cool doing that, Frunk, if you could do the environmental systems, so we can vent that gas, and then Lavore, I'm thinking shields to start.
Okay.
That tracks for everybody, and then if there's one that I can work on, I'd be happy to. But
well, given your background, once the environmental, I'm gonna have Frunk go first, so that if he clears the environmental systems,
then I can.
while you're all crawling places with masks, because until the environmental systems are done, it would be a nice surprise if you're halfway there and the air clears, right?
Yeah.
You could actually handle everything in sickbay because you do have a medical. So you could try to get the AMH back online, or
Yeah. Okay, cool.
We need an EMH.
We really do. I feel like that's the thing we're missing.
All right, so I'm going to start with Frunk. Go ahead and give you. So this is literally your choice of a daring or control plus engineering, and it's just going to have a similar idea where you're working towards a number of successes. But I'm not going to make you roll like work towards it or anything. It's going to take a little bit of time each time to try.
Okay, so control 10, engineering 4, and
the computers are back online, so you're always going to have an extra dice now, as is Dr. Leo.
And can I apply my computer expertise to this?
Absolutely.
Okay, so 3d20.
Yep.
Okay. 10, 2, and 18.
So you got 2 successes.
Mhm.
Okay. So you think it's going to take you a little longer, but you're getting there. So that was like 10 minutes worth of work. You're like, okay, I've managed to connect all of the various subsections of the environmental system into one route pathway, and now I will tell it to start flushing. But you're still working on it.
Okay.
All right. So Lieutenant Lavore, you're tapping away at the tacticals. Actually, you could all do this from main engineering until he clears the environmental systems, except for Lieutenant Commander Ortho. So I think that would make more sense. So okay, Lieutenant Lavore, go ahead. You're going to roll your 2 die 20.
All right. I
And the
got
computers-
everything printed out.
Awesome. And this is your choice of daring or control plus security.
Daring or control 11.
Okay, definitely better. Yep.
All right. Sounds
And then
good.
your security is 5, I believe. So you're looking at a 16 or less. Yep.
Okay, I got 8 and 11.
Okay, so yeah, you've started restoring the shields. It's going to take a little bit more time, but yeah, you're like, okay, no, I know how to do this. It's just a matter of cycling through the yada yada yada. All right, Dr. Lyle, you get 3 dice because you are a technical expertise.
Okay. So that's control or
daring plus science for you.
okay. So daring is 11 and science is 5. Surely this won't end badly. I think daring so much higher than my control. 7, 8, 1.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay, so you have restored the internal sensors.
Yay.
Nice.
All right. And
Did we get a momentum from that 1 that she hit?
that would be 4 in total. Yes, we would. Sorry.
Good.
Yep.
Good job,
All right.
Mike.
And Ensign West, you are your choice of control or daring plus con.
I'll use control plus con.
Okay.
And so how many dice am I rolling again?
You have 2.
Okay.
You don't, yeah.
All right. A 5
Nice.
and a 19.
Okay. So that's 1 success. You haven't blown it or anything, but you're like, okay, yeah, sure. I know how thrusters work. I remember this. Totally. I remember this.
This is not normally my job.
No.
But I like to be adaptive.
Okay, so it takes you a little while, Lieutenant Commander Ortho, but you push your way through the Jeffries tube and out into sick bay, like 6 decks that way. And the good news is the medical systems, the emergency medical holographic systems are actually on their own separate computer. It's an emergency system. It is designed not to go down come hell or high water. So go ahead.
Computer activate emergency medical hologram.
Please state the nature of the medical emergency.
That was spot on. Assessment. What happened to the ship? What shut down all of our systems?
I haven't been activated in 14 days.
Right. Nobody likes you. I forgot.
But if you look around, there are actually 2 people on biobeds. You have the chief engineer and you have one of the science officers both lying on a biobed. Let me find their names for you. Sick bay. Lieutenant Ariana Shaw, she's the chief engineer, and Lieutenant junior grade Angela Merrill, she's one of the science officers. You think she deals with exobiology?
Interesting. Okay. I'll ask the EMH to provide me details on the condition of both, starting with the chief engineer.
Okay, so I will let you roll for the EMH. We're looking at a reason in medicine. His score is 13.
Okay. Okay, the 18 is no good, but the 9 is good.
Okay. As far as he can tell, sorry, where did I write it? There we go. They have been treated for dehydration, heat exhaustion, and minor burns to their lungs.
Dehydration.
Also, someone's given them a very strong dose of Axanol and Nurazine.
Yeah, that seems to be going around across the ship. It was dehydration, minor burns,
and heat exhaustion.
Heat exhaustion. Does the image of any, like, the source have been any sign of, like, exposure to plasma? There's got to be a better way to ask that. But
so are you going to spend a momentum to ask me to get more answers?
Yeah, I'm going to spend a momentum.
Okay.
So we're down to 1.
Okay. Noted. But I get 2 questions.
It actually looks like they took a face full of plasma gas. Yes.
Okay.
And actually, it looks like they inhaled, or either they inhaled or it was forced into their lungs. Would be his best guess. It didn't actually damage them particularly badly, which is strange and makes no sense. Also, why are you wearing a mask?
Well, because oh wait. Computer deactivate EMH.
Okay. Shimmers out of existence. The medical tricorder falls to the ground.
Yeah, take the mask off, put it on my belt, double check everything to do with my uniform, make sure computer reactivate.
Well, actually,
EMH.
you don't want to take the mask off yet because he hasn't.
I thought. I thought we included.
Yeah,
the mask.
no,
oh,
that's yeah.
Then I'll re-engage the EMH.
Yeah.
Because in case you hadn't noticed, the ship has been flooded with heavy-duty anesthetic gas that has knocked out the entire crew.
It's like, well, that doesn't make sense. He walks over to like where the drugs are kept, and is like, oh, you're correct. They're missing.
Yes, no, we established that on our own. Just pretend he has feelings. So I'll relay all that to everybody in engineering that I found, and see if they can make anything of that, the plasma burns and the inhaling of this plasma, see if anybody has any insight.
Dr. Lyle would know right away that's the EMH is right. That makes no sense. Like if you inhale plasma, you should die.
Yeah, and in theory, there shouldn't have even been a way for them to be in proximity to the plasma storm to inhale this. I don't see how this is possible, although I might if I had gotten my last funding request.
Sentient anomaly.
I'm thinking that, or some sort of plasma-based creature.
My cousin was just eaten by a sentient energy field.
You're kidding.
No, I said it at the beginning of the game.
Oh, that's right, you did.
Right, this was in my backstory before we found this out, but now I'm just like high alert.
Just looking around.
Okay, so that would be the first time, or the second. So you have restored internal sensors, Dr. Lyle. So what would you like to do next? Do you want to use them, or do you want to start working on the short range sensors, or?
I'd like to start working on the short range sensors because now that we've seen the condition of the two people in the biobed, I'd like to keep a closer eye if we can on the plasma onion outside.
Okay. All right. So go ahead, give me your 3 die 20s again.
Yeah. I lost my tab. There's a lot of tabs open. 3d20. 18, 6, 13.
Okay, so that is 2 successes. It's not quite enough to get them completely back online, but you're on your way. All right. Gonna finish off the environmental systems, Frunk, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay, go right ahead.
So the same thing, 3d20.
Yep, 3d20.
Okay, 12, 8, and 3.
Okay, you're done.
Okay.
And in fact, that's enough for you to actually also bump 1 into momentum.
Okay.
All right, Lieutenant Lavore, going to try to fix the shields.
Yeah.
You have 2 dice to work with, but you're almost there.
Do this. Wait, no. Okay. Well, I rolled the same thing I rolled last time, 11 and 8. So
Okay.
I re-rolled just in case there was like an issue with. Anyway, yeah, no, it was just a really
Okay,
weird
that's fine.
coincidence.
So
right.
there's another point of momentum there. You only need 1 more to get to the end. So now
Okay.
you have shields. You can raise them at will if you'd like.
All right. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I guess I
so-
agree that the dice emulators are blah. It's always makes me paranoid. I do need all my dice are in California. Anyway, not in character. Need to get back in character. Before raises the shields.
All right.
Does
Ensign-
Lavore say anything when she raises the shields?
Shields up.
Nice. Ensign West, trying to get the thrusters back online. Another 2 die 20.
Yes, and I have a warp engine focus. Did I
No, that won't apply. That's for putting the warp engines back online. Right now, you're just trying to get maneuvering thrusters to even function, so that you can
gotcha. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
You don't actually want to fix the warp engines until you've spent some time on the inertial dampeners.
Gotcha. I got. Oh, you don't want us to be event horizoned all over the back console?
Yeah.
All right, I got an 8 on my first one and
Awesome.
a 16 on my second.
Okay, so you do have, what do you have? You have warp engines, small craft, helmet. Okay, all right, so you're almost there. You're pretty sure one more go and you'll have it.
Yeah, I think I'm doing very well for a person.
No,
who's
you are.
Not
You're not an engineer. This is not what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. Okay, so back to Lieutenant Commander Ortho. Are you sticking around in sick bay? Are you? The environmental system's just flushed. Like Frunk finished. Like, it's obvious. Like, so you could go to the bridge. You could go. Oh well, you can crawl to the bridge.
That's what I'm thinking.
4 decks away.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking turbo lifts might be the next thing we get online, so we can move around a little bit. Internal sensors are back online yet or no?
Yes.
Okay, can I run a scan? See if I can find anybody. Like, and I'm looking specifically for anyone other than our usual crew complement.
Okay, so you run. That's easy enough to do at the medical computer. You tap up a quick check, and internal sensors I think is a 0 task. So if you want to, you can roll it for an opportunity for momentum. It's reason and engineering, I believe.
Okay.
No, reason and science. No, sorry, it's reason and science.
Okay, that's decent then. Yeah, I'll roll that. Yeah, that's a 14 for me. So awesome. That's a 4 and a 6.
Okay. So what is your science? Your science is only 3 though, right?
Yes, 14.
Okay. Okay. So you got 2 successes.
Nice.
So that's 2 into momentum, and you can ask questions if you want. Internal sensors, there are exactly the right number of people. The crew is who is here.
Any weird plasma readings?
Nope.
Weird.
But one thing that does stick out is actually, you know what? Give me a insight and command. Okay. I just want to check something if you've noticed something.
16. That's 2 successes.
Okay. Where the hell's the doctor? There are patients in sickbay.
I'll ask the EMH.
He doesn't know.
Oh, he doesn't know he's been deactivated. That's right.
But you could spend one of your momentum to find their comm badges.
Yeah, would you allow me to spend momentum to find both the doctor and the captain?
Sure.
Done.
Yeah. So yeah, you run the scan. The captain is apparently on the bridge, and the doctor is on deck 8.
Where the environmental controls are.
Outside of environmental control.
Okay, I'm going to relay that to the others. And how far? I'm on, what deck am I on right now?
You're on deck 5.
Oh, shit. Okay. That's a little far away. I will relay that to the others and say that I'm going to start making my way as quickly as I can to deck 8 to investigate what's going on there.
All right. So I will let you get all the way to. This was the 3rd time you guys were working on things, right? Yes. I'll let you get all the way to the outside of environmental control, where you find 2 comm badges. The good news is they have people's names and information on the back. It's the doctor's comm badges and the nurse's comm badge. They're not here, but for some reason their comm badges are.
Weird. Okay, that's okay. Noted. I gotta think on that.
All right. So we go back to main engineering, where 4 of you are working feverishly on what you were working on. Dr. Lyle, I'm guessing you still want to get the short range sensors online so you can start looking at the onion. Go right ahead. 3 die 20.
3 die 20. 629.
So the good news is you have the sensors online. And you have scored another momentum for the pot. The bad news is we get another complication.
You seem too pleased about this, Nathan.
I kind of like them. So you, in your attempt at daring your way to repairs, I'll give you a similar option. it's going to make the long range sensors more difficult. You kind of rerouted things through the long range sensor relays, and you're like, whatever, it'll work better this way. I'll get more information. It's going to make it harder to restore the long range sensors. Everyone okay with that?
Well, we're right here. I mean, how far do we need to look, really?
Just look out the window.
Just look out the window.
Okay. All right. So you have short range sensors back on. Now that actually took you almost no time at all. That was literally the last little step. If you'd like, you could run a scan right now. That's a reason plus sensors.
Yes, I would like to run a short range scan. I need information. Okay, wait.
Also, if we're
reason-
inside of a plasma storm, those long range sensors won't go anywhere anyway.
True.
We're right.
Yeah.
I thought we were next to the plasma storm.
You
Or we
are,
inside
but
it?
if you're beside it right now, but the interference
Okay.
it throws off would make long range sensors messy anyway.
Yeah, the
Oh, there we
Badlands are pain in the
Yeah,
ass.
see, I knew what I was doing. You know, that's how the Badlands works. Don't
I
worry about it.
believed in you. More importantly,
you act-
Ortho did.
So
Yeah,
you actually
I'm
have
gonna write a paper about it later. Don't worry, I'll put your name in it. Wes, yeah.
Somewhere near the pond.
okay.
Sorry. So sensors. Wait, sorry. What was I supposed to be?
You were doing a reason and science to use
Okay,
the sensors.
reason 10, science 5. So that's okay. How many am I rolling? 2?
You're going to roll 3 because you have your technical expertise. Whenever you use a computer or a sensor, you get an extra dice.
Okay. 2, 14, 18.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm going to put 2 of those into momentum.
We are.
You get a
capped right
much you get a much better picture of the, we're going to call it an onion because you called it an onion and I love it.
Looks like an onion.
Yep. That lattice that is holding the storm in place, it is still holding the storm in place, so it hasn't come any closer since you guys got on board. That's good. It is slowly in motion. It is slowly rotating inside, counter to the way that the actual whole object is rotating. And it seems to be electrochemical in nature, not entirely just gaseous. So you're looking at a really highly organized little weird lattice pattern thing that seems to be holding this thing in place. You're also sure it's shrinking just a little bit at a time. It's almost like some part of the storm is evaporating or escaping in tiny, tiny increments, but you're not sure where it's going.
So
And now you can ask questions if you want. Yeah, you can ask questions if you want more information, and you have 5 momentum to play with at the moment. So
okay. Does Dr. Lyle do the electrochemical reactions that he's seeing from the short range sensors? Do they remind him of anything? Do they seem familiar at all?
You once read a paper on an alien called the Calamarain, who were spacefaring gaseous beings. It's not quite as coherent, so you're not sure if this kind of gathering of electrochemicals could survive outside of a plasma storm.
Okay. But there's a possibility then, since there's another life form out there like this, that we're dealing with a life form interacting with the plasma storm.
Correct.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions? I have to chew on this for a bit.
Could we send a probe into the lattice? Do we have access to that?
Yes, I will say that the probe, you can sort of force it. You'd be like, if we just kind of shove the probe. So that will be, I think launching a probe is also a control plus science. So do you want to do that instead of working on another system? Or do you want to wait until the next round to do that?
You know what? I would suggest that I actually go to the LCARS logs next.
Okay.
Because that's probably more pressing.
Okay. All right. So keep in mind that if you do wish to shoot a probe off next time, you can. You don't have to have more questions if you don't want to. That's fine.
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay, all right. So, Lavore, what would you like to do next?
Lavore is eager to get the weapon system online. I don't know if it would be logical to shoot the lattice, but the options would be available.
All right, so phasers or torpedoes?
Let's go for. Oh boy, it's like what would work the best against the lattice that they don't know anything about with potentially plasma alien.
I get to see Premee making hands.
So did Dr. Lyle share the
I'm assuming I'm going to assume you're always sharing your information with each other as the good little Starfleet officers. Yeah.
Okay, can I potentially ask Dr. Lyle for their expertise in which weapon system would work best against these aliens that are similar to this? This.
What do you think, Dr. Lyle?
Well, while I am not normally a proponent of sudden unexpected violence from a starship towards something that may or may not be a life form, because we don't know if it'll retaliate or not, I do think there's a possibility that we could sort of haze it like a bear or scare it off if it is a life form, because Starfleet's been working on plasma storm deflection technology for a little while, and if we can figure out how to bounce energy wave bursts in a directed fashion off the shields, that might scare it off and allow the plasma to dissipate. Keep in mind, I've been drinking strange things from the replicators for the last half an hour, so this may not be accurate.
So definitely all your technology worked with directed energy for dealing with plasma. So the phasers, the torpedoes would be more of a hitting it with a boot than.
Yeah, just hitting it with a boot. Yeah.
Right.
Also,
phasers online.
All right. So again, it's another 2 die 20.
Mm-hmm.
Another. We could always suck it into the ram scoops if it becomes a real problem.
This is true. The ram scoops
Shoot
are
it
designed
through like a vacuum.
The ram scoops are absolutely designed to draw in chemical and gaseous particles. That's what they do. They help you gather deuterium and turn it into fuel. In fact, the nacelles are full of warp plasma. So yeah. Anyway, so go ahead and roll your 2 die 20 to.
Got 8 and 1, and thank you,
fantastic.
Dr. Lyle.
You just completely brought the phasers back online in one go.
Good job, Lavore.
Phasers on.
All right. And Frunk, you said you wanted to work on the LCARs to get more idea of what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. The 3 die.
Okay. 3d20, 4, 16, 17.
So your 4 will count as 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You almost had it, and then the replicator log showed up, and you're like, oh, god damn it. Yeah. Okay, who have I missed? Ensign West.
Okay, am I rolling again? Is that what
Yep.
I'm doing? Sorry.
Yep.
All right, I got a 4 and an 18. I'm just
No, this is good.
hit and miss every time.
No, I'm actually, in this case, you brought them back online, and if you'd like, as part of bringing them back online, you can nudge the ship a bit further away from the Onion, if you want to put a bit of distance between you and the storm front.
Yeah, I mean, I have to look to my senior officer who is nearest me to ask this question. So actually, Commander, hey, do you want me to move the ship away from the anomaly?
Yeah, I would say back us off.
All right,
yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, good. We're good. Thanks.
Okay.
That was everything I needed to hear. I nudged a real good
beep,
nudge.
beep, beep. Yeah. So the ship starts to drift back. You've got shields, you've got phasers, you've got maneuvering thrusters. You have a mostly functional computer. You have short range sensors, and you've got the ship backing off, and you have a crew of sleeping people. All right, that was okay. So you were trying to get to the bridge, Ortho? Is that where you were heading next?
That's what I was thinking. Or no,
Okay.
I had just gone to environmental, so I'm further from the bridge than I was previously. Yeah, because all I have is these 2 comm badges, and there's no sign nearby of how these comm badges got here, or any sign of.
No, I mean you haven't gone into environmental control. These are sitting outside. Okay. Yeah.
I'll go into environmental control.
Okay, the 2 canisters are there, one for Axonol, one for Neurazine. They've been they've been literally flooded into the oxygenation control. There's the normal displays are set up there now functioning because Lieutenant Commander got them back online. But yeah, so obviously someone came in here, dumped these dumped the anesthetics and left. And I mean, you're not probably making the giant leap of logic that for some reason it was the doctor and the nurse, but removing the comm badge would also make it very difficult to lock onto someone to beam them somewhere, because it generally just defaults to locking onto your comm badge.
Right, exactly. Oh no, I'm having horrible thoughts that West might have been right about maybe we shouldn't wake up any of the crew.
While you're standing there in horror thinking, maybe we shouldn't wake the crew, your comm badge chirps and it says, "This is the emergency medical hologram. You failed to turn me off. So I spent some time looking at my patients. I believe I can devise a hypospray that will wake them. They will not be in a good mood. They will be irritable. They will be borderline hungover. They will have a significant, but I can prepare a hypo for you if there's anyone you wish to inject to wake up."
Yes, if you synthesize that compound and use it first on our chief engineer.
Okay. If you hear like a little click hiss over the
and also as he's doing that, I'm going to start making my way
back,
I guess, or at least I'll stay where I am and just say put him on the comm. I don't need to go there.
So the first sound you hear is Lieutenant Ariana Shaw throwing up.
That's about right.
She groans. She's like, "Oh my God, what did I do?" And then the EMH is like, no, you are having a bad reaction to I've filled you full of basically uppers. Like he's dosed her system with stimulants to counteract the two very strong anesthetics. What you're feeling is perfectly normal. Empty it out. And you hear her voice. She sounds like death. She's like, "Okay, where am I?" It's like, "You're in sick bay." You can talk to her if you don't want.
I will. Yeah. It's sorry. We're sorry to wake you so roughly, Lieutenant. What's the last thing you remember before you were knocked unconscious?
She's like, "Commander,
that's me.
We were beaming aboard a sample from the strange plasma formation in the life sciences lab. How did I get here?" The EMH says, "I assume you were beamed here."
Right, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, why exactly were you bringing aboard a sample?
We found this structure inside the storm front that was holding it together, but it looked like it might have been artificial. We wanted to study what was holding it together because the captain thought that it could have been a weapon. Something the Maquis put together, and if that lattice was released, the storm could explode with disastrous results. If it was a new weapon they were planning, we needed to know what it was.
Okay, I'm going to make sure we're on open channel with the rest of the rest of the crew in case anybody wants to chime in. I'm assuming all of our usual safeguards and safety protocols were in place in the life sciences lab.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. We beamed it aboard. It was in the canister. Myself and the science officer, we were looking at it. I remember there was a flash of light, and that's it. That's the last thing I remember. She coughs a couple of times. She's like, "Oh, my throat's raw."
Okay.
Is the canister still contained?
She doesn't know. She's been unconscious since it was beamed aboard.
So it's in. Where is the canister?
in the life sciences lab, same deck. It's deck 8. That's happily you're on the same deck as the.
Okay, I'm going to start making my way towards the life sciences lab while I'm talking. Neither the chief medical officer. Oh no.
Commander.
2 people unconscious on the bio bed, 2 people missing. Something came out of that. I'm thinking something came out of that canister and has initially co-opted our chief engineer and the other science officer, and now has co-opted our chief medical officer and nurse.
So you open the doors to the life sciences lab, and there's a shattered transparent aluminum canister. Meanwhile, in main engineering, Frunk, and then a few seconds later, Lavore, you hear something again. You hear that sort of high-pitched noise, and this time it's getting louder.
Can I identify a direction?
You think it's actually coming from behind the warp core?
Oh. I draw my phaser, tell Lavore to please come here.
Yeah.
Actually, so we're both standing there?
Yeah, so you're in the main engineering console, which is kind of in the middle of a large, long room with a warp core at one end. Yeah.
Can I do this, but get an assist from the computer to boost, for...
Yeah. Well, you've got internal sensors now. You can use the internal sensors if you want. So if you've got Lavore at your back with her weapon out.
Yeah.
And okay, so it's reason and science is for using the sensors.
8 and 3. Is that
you're assisted by the computer now, so you also get someone else can roll a die to be the Cassini itself.
Okay, so I'll do 2d20.
Oh, 3. It's sensors. It's 3 for you.
So, okay, so that 3 and a 9 and a 10.
Okay. It looks like 2 humanoids are approaching from the turbo lift behind the warp core. They're up and walking. That's weird. The door opens and the doctor and the nurse walk in. They look a lot worse for wear. They come from either side of the warp core, and they open their mouths and they just sort of inarticulately bellow at you as they break into a run. And we'll end the scene there. So.
Anomaly.
Yeah, that seems like unusual human behavior.
That's not great.
Yeah. Funny when you say humanoid instead of people.
Well, you didn't know what they were until they came through the door. Okay. So normally Dr. Magnus Singh Larson is this lovely roly-poly bear of a man. He's notorious as a ship's chef. He likes to cook in his quarters, and getting an invite to his quarters for a meal is fantastically good news. So far, only the captain, the nurse, and a couple of other people have ever scored such an invitation. Right now, he's kind of slavering and like racing and raising both of his arms out as he races across main engineering. To the other side, coming around the other side of the warp core, is nurse and ensign Jimmy Shepard. Normally, he's like sneaking people snacks and treats when they're recovering in sick bay. He also looks like furious. And they both, like, the sound coming out of their mouth is like, ha. You're not sure if it's supposed to be a word or not. But Frunk and Lavore can also hear this weird high-pitched something resonating out of both of them. And you're not sure what that is at all. Anyway, they are running right at you. What would you like to do?
I would say, like, do we run or we try to take them out? Because what I would love to do is to can I ask the computer to lock them on, to like beam them into sickbay?
You don't have the transporters back yet.
What about the runabout? Can the runabout beam at a distance?
If someone was on the runabout, they could.
False.
Damn it. Stun them. I say try to stun them and then use something to beam them onto a biobed for analysis.
So so I'm guessing, like, you two are both currently armed, so I'm going to let you go first if you want to just try stunning them.
Why not? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I closed. Oh no, here it is. Okay.
Yeah. The Twitch chat also says stun them.
You take one, I'll take the other. I got the doctor.
Okay, so
All right, so yeah, so the way combat works is you basically take turns. Although there are some options I will feed you at the end of each thing. So who would like to go first from your group? I'm guessing that you would probably like the tactical officer to go first.
Yeah.
So firing a phaser is a control and security test, and the difficulty is 2.
All right, so control 11, security 5. Then do I roll?
Yeah, so you roll 2 die 20, and you're trying to get less than 16 on them. You also have a focus in energy weapons, so any roll you have of a 5 or less will count as 2 successes.
Well, I got a 14 and a 17.
Okay.
So one of those.
Okay, so you fire and your shot goes a little wild. Because he moved funny. It's almost like the doctor, like he shouldn't be as agile as he's acting right now. And so you're like, that's not right. So he's going to get all the way to you. So now you guys have, your side has a choice. You can spend 2 momentum to hold on to the initiative, which will allow another person on your side to act, or you can let it go to one of them. And then it can come back to you. Once you let it go to them, I will point out that I have the ability to also spend 2 threat to keep the initiative on their side as well, which will let them act 2 in a row. So if you would like to spend 2 momentum,
we have capped at momentum, so I think it's okay to spend it.
Okay, so it is now any one of the rest of the 3 of you who are in engineering's turn. Now, Frunk has his phaser out, so if you wanted to try to shoot either the nurse or the doctor is now close enough to Lieutenant Lavore that if you miss with a complication, you may hit Lieutenant Lavore.
That was actually
So who am I? Am I closer to the nurse?
You're far enough away. You're far enough away from the nurse that you can still phaser. He's racing towards you, but
okay. Yeah, I would. I would go for the nurse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, firing a phaser is a control and security.
Yeah, so that's a 10 and a 3.
And you want 2 successes.
Okay, so 2d20. 14 and 19, 0 6.
Okay, so again, your shot goes a little wild, and it's because like the nurse basically limbos, like under the beam, and you think you heard something kind of go crunch or crack, like there's something weird going on there with how they're moving. Okay, it is now their turn.
I was going to ask, by the way, did the force fields ever get restored?
Not yet.
Okay, great.
Okay, so the doctor slams into Lavore, or tries to. This is unarmed combat. One of the cool things about unarmed combat is it's a versus thing. So there's an opportunity for Lavore to actually do better at this than the doctor, in which case Lavore will actually get to deal damage rather than the doctor.
What's the species of the doctor?
He's a human.
Okay, and she's Vulcan?
Yep.
So I got a focus in hand-to-hand combat, if that helps.
Absolutely. So for fighting hand-to-hand, you're going to roll a daring plus security, as am I, and we'll see who does better. Now, you do still have momentum left. I'm actually going to spend 3 threat so that I can add 2 more dice to my rolls.
Okay. So for daring and security, what do I roll for that?
So first, yeah, I was gonna say first you have to decide if you want to add any dice to it, because I'm going to be rolling 4 of them. So if you want to add 1 dice for 1 momentum, then you'll have 3 dice, or you could even add. I don't know how much momentum you have left. Actually, sorry, do you still have 3 left?
Yeah, we have 3.
Okay, so you could, if you want to, spend all 3 of those momentum and roll 4 dice instead of 2. And because you have spent momentum to do it, you have cautious security. You would be allowed to re-roll 1 of those dice if you don't like the roll.
All right, what do y'all think?
Go for it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go for it. 4?
4 versus 4. Oh my god. Oh.
Oh no, is it good?
No, it's terrible.
Oh, good. For us or them?
It's terrible for them.
Okay, that's
Okay,
good.
Yay.
So
Okay,
I got
was pretty
I got a
sure.
whopping 1 success. So
I got 15, 8, 9, and 12.
8, 9, and 12 are all successes. I don't think 15 is because it's your daring. So you could roll one more. You can re-roll your daring.
Okay.
Roll one more, so you
Re-rolling.
did 14 or less.
11. Sweet.
Okay, so you got 4 successes to my 1, so you win. And now you get to do an unarmed attack damage against me, and you are a Vulcan with a nerve pinch. So if you'd
I've been
like,
waiting for this moment. Yeah.
so basically you're rolling 6 die 6.
Mhm.
And then let me know what numbers you get rather than the total, because it's those funny dice that are.
Okay. 6 dice 6. 2, 6, 6, 2, 3, 2.
Wow. Okay, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successes. You have done the doctor an injury, and because that is your nerve pinch, I believe that means he's unconscious. So you basically, like, this man comes flailing at you, and you're just like, boop, and down he drops.
I never see a Lyle saying your pitch his head off.
All right, so the doctor's down. And now it is the nurse's turn. Sorry, Frunk. I do still have some threat left. I'm going to use it. So here we go. So yeah, so he's coming at you. I'm going to be rolling 4 dice. Oh, wait. Sorry, you succeeded with 4. You have 2 momentum.
Okay.
Because it's only 2 to succeed, I believe. Oh no, it's only 1 to succeed in a melee. Sorry, you have 3 momentum.
So it doesn't go back and forth, or did you spend threat to keep the initiative on your side?
I did. I spent threat. I have threat.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oof, good. Now spend away.
So Frunk, we're doing an opposed, unarmed check. So it will be your daring and your security.
That's not great. I'm a little Ferengi guy.
You got this. You got this. Just encouragement in your ear.
8 and 3. Would in this case, would my focus of deception be able to help me be a little shifty?
I don't think so. I think you would have to have hand-to-hand combat or something to specifically, yeah. The bad news is I rolled 2 1s. The good news is those are the only successes I rolled. So I got 4 successes. How did you do for successes? Did you get any?
I didn't roll yet.
Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just doing 2d20.
Well, I mean, you have enough momentum to buy 1 extra dice.
Okay, yeah. So I'll buy 1 extra dice. So that's so momentum's down to 2. And then 3d.
I love the idea of the nurse just squeaking your face across all the consoles while Orithos and you're like, get up, you can do it, it's okay.
Orithos hearing this on the comm, it is horrifying.
I'm doing the Ferengi, yeah! Okay, so I've daring security is 11. I got 13, 4, and 12, so 1 success.
Oh,
okay,
dude.
so it's 3 successes in my favor. So I win, and I get to. I'm going to bank them. I'm not going to use them on an attack. And now I get to roll the damage.
Sure, it's gonna be fine. Like,
oh, actually, it wasn't bad. So you're taking 3 stress. I didn't get to 5, so there's no injury there. But I did get an effect, so you are on the ground.
Okay.
That wasn't so bad, actually. All right, who would like to go next out of Dr. Lyle or Ensign West?
Oh, I forgot that I was in engineering. Okay, yeah.
you're just watching this go.
I'm just watching. I'm like, this is eating popcorn. This is terrible.
I think I'm a decent shot. I can't. It was
Yeah, so of the 2 of you, I think you are the better shot.
Yeah, you go first.
Was it
yeah.
daring insecurity or is it?
I'm not done my popcorn.
So if you're going to like leap and punch, it will be a daring and security. If you're going to fire your phaser, it will be a control and security. And because Frunk is down on the ground, you don't have the accidental shoot Frunk if you have an effect here.
Yeah, no, I'm good to stay all the way across the bay. Far away from the anomalous person.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so you need 2 successes on a control and security check, which for you is 14.
Okay, yeah, and yeah, does I've never seen anything like that before. This
Oh
thing.
yeah, okay. So there's your value.
Yeah.
So you can actually, yeah. So that means you're going to get 2 successes. One, you've added an extra dice that is automatically a 1, and now you can roll your other 2 dice.
Yes, like McCoy, I have met the unknown and found it distasteful. All right, first die is a 5.
Nice.
Second die is a 9.
Okay, so you got 4 successes. That's 2 more into the momentum pool. So now you are going to roll damage, which for you will be, you are 3. So 5 die 6.
Oh, wow, that's exactly how many I brought. Okay, here we go.
And then tell me what the actual numbers are.
Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to tell you something you can do with some momentum. You have got 4 hits there. So you've got 4 damage to him. If you add 1 more damage, you will have 5, which will create an injury and stun him. It'll cost you a momentum to add 1 damage, but you can.
We have 4 momentum right now.
That's a way good bargain. Yeah.
Okay. So you're like stun the nurse. That's why it has those settings, so you can just quickly nudge it up while you're aiming.
Oh, I didn't realize. I didn't realize it was like. I thought it was like a binary thing, but
no, they have like
the
15 different settings. Yeah.
And no readout. It's great.
No. So you stun the nurse. Nurse drops. A moment or 2 later, you watch as this hazy sort of cloud rises from them.
Anomaly.
And you can all hear it. All of you in the engineering room can actually hear this noise just on the edge. For the humans, you're like, what the hell is that? The Ferengi is like, oh my God, make that stop. And the Vulcan, of course, is not letting it show how painful that is.
Question. Warp engines have magnetic containment.
They do.
Okay. Is there a way to use that magnetic containment on the plasma?
Not in the middle of engineering, you don't think, because they don't want the plasma flow coming in here.
Right.
So not off the top of your head.
No emergency containment magnetic bottle kind of system.
If you had force fields, you don't have them back online yet, but okay, so I'm gonna shift over to Ortho while you guys all stand there watching these little clouds settle.
As I'm hearing this on my phone,
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
You're hearing phaser fire, the Ferengi is squealing.
Oh man, so much for my first time in charge. Okay, so aside from the destroyed transferential canister, do I see anything else in environmental control?
Nope. But you can see that the last thing that was done on the log was beaming it aboard. And then it lost containment from pressure from the inside, a very focused pressure from the inside. 2 points of pressure were pressed in one, like together into one spot and shattered the canister.
Right. Okay. So something deliberately inside broke out.
Yeah.
That has a sort of conscious will. Okay. Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna start making my way towards engineering to try to help out my friends or my crew.
Oh, that was sweet. Okay. So we're gonna hit a new scene again.
Do we lose a momentum when we switch scenes?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think we lost one.
So we're down to 2.
Okay. So you get back. By the time Lieutenant Commander Ortho arrives in engineering, the little puddles of plasma gas are starting to coalesce again into what look like tight little twists.
That's not great.
And you can still hear that noise.
We don't have universal translator. Do we want to try? Okay, first of all, is everyone okay? I'm immediately going into what have you done? Is everyone all right?
One thing that you're pretty sure isn't all right, the doctor and the nurse both look like hell.
Okay.
And they may have burned lungs.
Yeah, that's not great. Okay, I'll go to the doctor first and run a quick scan of him.
Is
So
the plasma stuff like, is it like moving around or is it just kind of floating?
right now, it's like little clouds above them that are starting to coalesce into
Okay.
what look like little hourglass-shaped twists.
Okay.
Dr. Lyle, you're like, it's adorable. They're like super tiny, cute plasma storms. I mean, not
They do look like
adorable.
plasma storms, but in miniature. Isn't that so strange? But yeah, I mean, I'm screaming on the inside.
Okay.
Yes. Just to be clear, there should not be any plasma loose inside of a ship. I cannot fathom how it's formed itself into a shape like this and hasn't immediately dissipated. And also, are we allowed to stand this close to the warp core, or?
Probably not.
I just remembered that the runabout has working transporters.
Does.
We could get those things out of here.
I see what you're saying.
Since we've been remoting in to the ship from the runabout, can we remote into the runabout from the ship?
No. Well, okay, actually, that's
We
not
got the
true.
computer
It's not
on.
held up with. So you can call the ship and ask the ship to beam you up. But that's relying on the ship's computer to do it all by itself, the runabout. So you won't be making any of the rolls. I will be rolling for the ship and nothing else. And it is a difficulty 3. So there could be complications.
Yeah, we don't like complications.
I know we had external shields restored. Does that how does that affect like internal like force fields?
No, you haven't restored internal force fields.
Is that something that like I could just run off and try to do?
You totally could right this second.
Okay. So I yell at Ortho like, I'm gonna do this. And then...
So do you want to try to drag the bodies away from the little clouds that are forming above them before you scan them, or do you?
No, I'm gonna keep one eye on the plasma. I'm gonna scan, and then if I have enough time before they act, I've got something else I want to do. But
okay, so
if you're trying to get the force fields up, can I help with my security and control?
You could, or Lieutenant Lavore could. Either of you would be perfectly decent. Actually, Lieutenant Lavore would be much better at enacting.
Security.
Yeah. It's a control and security, and you'd be assisting. So you're just going to roll 1 die 20, and Mike, you will be rolling 3 because you're using the computers. And I'm going to say this is a difficulty 4 because you are basically patch jobbing the hell out of this. You're trying to like reroute and get the emitters online and divert power, etc. But we'll start with control engineering. Okay. I'm going to start though with Ortho having his scan first, and that is a reason plus medicine.
Does my emergency medicine apply?
Yes, this is an emergency. Yeah, they are not in good shape.
Perfect. Okay, so reason plus medicine. That is 2 successes.
Okay. And it's actually a difficulty of 1, so you've got scored another momentum there. Yes. They both, like, if the nurse is the same as the doctor, they need to go to sick bay.
Okay. And we don't have transporters up yet.
No, they are extremely dehydrated. They are both suffering from massive heat stroke. They have minor burns in their lungs. Okay. And actually, the nurse has multiple small fractures. You're not sure how it happened. It almost looks like he fractured himself, but...
Okay, I'm going to show to West. West, help me drag these 2 like away, and we'll get them to sick bay as quick as we can. Or as soon as we can.
Okay.
All right, so...
Do they have like hover stretchers or anything? I mean, this is engineering.
I hope so.
Yeah, they would have grav lifts, grav handles. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, because the engineering just seems accident prone, is all I'm saying. I've seen the show.
So you guys are going to try to get them to sick bay as soon as possible. All right. Frunk, go ahead and make your emergency force field creation.
Okay, so I got 14, 13, and 6, and my control engineering is 14. So
okay, so you've got 3 there. So go ahead and try to help Lavore. It's a die 20, and you're trying to get better than. Oh wow, you only need a 16.
Yeah, 16.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, that's good. I thought I failed.
Yeah, no, that's good. So you snap these force fields into place just as the little clouds start to try to move somewhere, and they bounce off the edge of the force field. And now they're bouncing around inside there. The weird squealing noise increases in pitch. Dr. Lyle, give me an insight science check, please.
And my dice tab. Okay. Insight 7 and science 5. Sorry, that's how many die?
It's 2 dice,
Two.
unless you want to buy more dice.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, sorry, it's a difficulty 2. I'm asking you to do something quite difficult. But...
Okay. Well, I'll just roll 2 and see what we get. 3 and 10.
Oh, well done. That's language. That's not random noise, that's language. So if you guys can get the UT back online through any source, which would include a runabout, you might be able to talk to these things.
Ooh.
Would it be faster if I tried to get the system online, or if we just ran someone to the runabout?
You are incredibly gifted at computers, given all of your, because I think you could actually re-roll one of them and you'll have an extra dice because you're literally using a computer. So you could probably swing it in one go if you tried, because you'll have 3 dice and a re-roll. I believe you have that.
Yeah, I have Starship Computer Systems. And,
yeah, you have computer expertise and technical expertise. So yeah. So go ahead and roll 3 die, 3 die 20.
Control engineering again.
Yep.
Okay. 8, 8, 14. So 3 successes.
Okay. Yep. So it's exactly enough. You've got the you get the universal translator back online.
This is
and the
tense shit.
I am having the worst day. The nurse tried to kill me. The noise that comes across the speaker, it takes a while for the computer to sort of catch up and turn it into words. But at about the time that Ensign West and Lieutenant Commander Ortho finally get the doctor and the nurse into sickbay, and the EMH is like, you found your medical staff.
That's a really good one. Robert Picardo just retires.
He's my favorite. So by the time you get them into sickbay, you can hear this happening over the comm, and it's just need heat, twin heat.
Oh. Well, that's pretty easy to give them near a warp core.
Uh,
I turn to Ortho and be like,
bad idea. There's got to be like, okay, so the UT is back up. There's got to be a system we can use to like corner off a little part of engineering and raise the internal temperature of that spot, right? Like using the environmental controls.
You've already got force fields. You could try just raising the ambient temperature and see if that helps. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be at least as warm as a person.
Yeah, exactly. And then that might keep them from commandeering one of us.
So yeah, you raise the temperature inside the force field that you've created as high as you can basically let it go. And their little spinning seems to be less frantic. It's like almost warm.
Yeah, crank it.
Why were you taking us from home?
Oh man,
we're the jerks.
Yeah.
Oh god, we kidnapped babies. It sounds like
we should probably release them before the mama anomaly comes back.
Yeah. Can I use my diffuse the tension ability here, Nathan?
If you go back to main engineering and take the lead in the conversation, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna just signal that like I'll be right there, and just like keep them from getting out.
Okay, so the two little spinning things through the translation, it's not great. It's still working to catch up to language. They keep squealing in their 2 languages or in their 2 voices that they want to go back. This is like, did you make the plane of random? Like, why did you take the other shell with heat? Like they're firing off questions. They seem really tense and angry and upset, and they want information. You're like, any second now, our XO is going to be here.
Was it the plane of random?
Dr. Lyle, give me a insight science again. You're not working with information, you're working with abstracts. And again, difficulty of 2. You can buy more dice if you want it, but
Yeah, probably from some paper I read back in the day, maybe. Sorry, I'm rolling 2.
unless you want to buy an extra dice. And I remind you that if you pay me 1 threat, you get to not only add a dice, but you get to re-roll a die because you have bold science.
You have bold science. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think it's important we understand what they're,
Yeah.
they're
I think it's worth it.
freaking out
Okay,
about.
let's do it.
So are you
Okay, so
buying it
rolling-
from me or are you taking it from momentum? Because I don't know if you have any momentum left. I haven't.
Oh, I don't know.
Mike, how's the momentum holding?
It is 3.
Okay, so you could actually
Yeah,
buy
we can-
2. You could actually buy 2 dice if you wanted to. You could use it all up. That'd be fine.
Hold on. If we can save 1 in case I need it for negotiating.
So yes, you've got 3 die then if you spend 1.
Okay, then I'll spend 1. Okay. Stop. 7, 6, 11.
Oh wow. Okay. So you that will gain you 1 momentum. It was difficulty 2. So you the only thing you could think of that would be a plane of random would be a coherent tetryon field. And the thing is, a coherent tetryon field totally would push plasma ahead of it, almost like a snowplow. So if some sort of weird tetryon thing happened, that might be how these things got here.
Could
And
be.
you're not sure, but I mean, you could float that by them. Like, wait, do you mean?
I do float it by them as carefully as I can, using that language, and
Okay.
I wait for their response.
Okay. So, Lieutenant Commander Ortho, as you step through the door, it appears that Lieutenant Lyle is the one having the lead in the conversation with these aliens. So that's super not troubling.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
But the aliens seem to be talking to her. They're like, yes, there was the plane of random pushed us. We are far from home. We are very far from home. We hid in the small heat, the barely enough heat.
Okay, it sounds to me like there was actually possibly a minor dimensional bubble problem, and that pushed you out of your native habitat and into ours, which is much less hospitable. You got caught up in the plasma, and when we took you as samples, you ended up inside of us as entities. Does that sound right?
We had to ride the heat bag.
It do be like that. It do be like that. Here, talk to my boss.
Okay, so I'll digest all that and I'll just to Dr. Lyle. So when you say that this kind of snowplow like thing, are we talking about the lattice that's outside? Like, so the plasma storm is their home, or they came from somewhere totally different?
You think the lattice is them. You actually,
okay.
looking at their sensor readings now, there are 45 of them in that little bubble of plasma,
wow.
and you have 2 of them on board the Cassini.
Okay, taking all of that in, Ortho looks about as strange enough as calm as you have seen him like this entire time. And I'll just look at the 2 beings and say, I apologize for this incident. We are going to return you to your home immediately. And I'll look at Frunk and say, do we have transporters online yet?
And I'm gonna roll.
They say, many thanks. You can get us all the way home. Home is far.
How far exactly are we talking?
They say, so the plane of random pushed them here from the 3 stars where we live with the fire. So they start giving you details, and Dr. Lyle is bringing up stellar cartography charts.
Okay, good. I was just thinking
Ensign
that,
West is like a trinary star system. Where the hell is the closest trinary star system? They are from about 10,000 1,000 light years from here is your closest hatching. So something pushed them very far. We're talking like a 10-year journey at high warp. And they keep talking. They say the other shell with the twin heat, the wave of motion, they were gone, and then you were here, and we thought they had come back, but you are not them.
So it was another ship that pushed you here.
No, it was a wave of random. But there was another shell with
lattice.
heat.
Oh.
No, there was another shell of heat here, like your shell of heat. We are in the shell of heat.
Ooh.
Oh, who was it?
Ooh, what happened to that other maybe
Yeah.
2 shells of heat even?
It was
Were we looking
suddenly
for
gone.
2 missing ships when we sorted
Right.
out?
You were, and this one would match one of them, so it wouldn't be
Oh,
super confusing
no.
for them to think that this was the same ship.
no.
Oh, geez.
Was
Oh,
there-
man.
Was there, was there someone drinking coffee on that ship that disappeared?
Shit.
Okay, so dealing with the more immediate problem, Lieutenant Lyle, considering what you've seen about that lattice that they're holding together inside, that's them holding on to all the heat they can in the plasma storm. Problem is, you think they need hotter than that. And now that you know that these are living beings, you're also pretty sure that they're feeding on the plasma itself just to sustain themselves, which is why it was sort of shrinking a little bit at a time. You're not sure what might be hot enough for them. It sounds like they were in like the lower layers of like a gas giant, or maybe an active plasma flow, something that's super hot. I mean, if that storm was way worse.
You know, I did have a theory back in the day that people mocked me for, you know, not that I'm bitter about it or anything. It was just, you know, I brought forth the idea that Starfleet is so obsessed with avoiding these storms, you know, and deflecting these storms and dissipating these storms. I actually came up with an idea to make them really, really so much worse. I mean, I wasn't going to do it near any ships or anything. I just wanted to see if the theory would work. You know, I've still got all the calculations ready to go, if that's something that we think might be helpful for these poor stranded aliens.
You're talking about making an anomaly.
A really, 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 really ultra hot one. Yes.
Cool. And investing it with sentient energy beings. I love that. Such a cool idea.
I mean,
I was going to test it in an abandoned area of the Badlands anyway.
Yes.
You know, it's generally quite stable in most of the areas. You know,
Wait, so
nothing-
we were worried about the Maquis making a weapon and just like leaving it out here, but then we're gonna, you know,
Yeah.
just
I mean,
I'm
would it
saying
be a
if,
weapon
if
though?
we could.
No, so what it, yeah, so it was that the captain thought that these beings were a weapon.
Right.
oh no,
Yeah.
I just mean to say that if we're worried about weapons just laying around, us detonating
Yeah.
a plasma storm seems a little off mission.
Just a bit.
I mean, obviously, I would ask permission first. Now that everybody's watching me.
I mean,
Can't they
The
just
only other place you can think of that is hot enough that would be the
Nacelles?
equivalent
The
would be
nacelles?
the nacelles. You could actually
Yeah.
put these guys in your own nacelles
and then carry them somewhere
and
else.
carry them somewhere else.
I mean, are they consuming enough energy that we would have to worry about that? I mean, I feel like this is something. I mean, they, you know, they should have like made the room ice cold if that was a danger.
No,
Right, yeah.
you're pretty sure that they would be able to take up the ride all the way back to Starbase 375. The downside would be you would be doing it at impulse. You can't use the warp engines while there are sentient creatures in the plasma itself.
Right. Yeah, that would be bad. That would be bad.
I mean,
is
I don't know what they would think.
yeah, okay, yeah, we don't want to do that. And there's no, he said like a gas giant. So is there a gas giant somewhere nearby that we could?
Not nearby. You would
Not
have
nearby.
to leave the Badlands and go somewhere.
Would it be possible to to recreate a hot enough environment for them in the holodeck?
Ooh.
Or would that melt the holodeck?
That would probably melt the holodeck. Safeties
Okay.
be damned. Yeah.
Okay, and how long? How exactly at Impulse? It would probably take us forever to get back to Starbase.
It would, or you could ask for another ship to come get you and tow you at warp.
Okay.
You also, I mean, there's still the problem of the fact that almost everyone on board is unconscious as well. So
yeah, but we're talking an issue of hours as opposed to like the length
yeah.
of time. Yeah. So okay. I'm thinking that I'm liking West's idea of stow them in the nacelles, make them nice and comfy, and then we get long range with pillows and stuff. We get long range comms back online, and then see if we can get somebody to tow us.
Yeah, I have to say it's a security chief, although I'm sure the good doctor knows exactly what you're talking about here. It's probably safer not to test out the creation of an anomaly.
In theory, all the math works.
In theory.
Yeah, in theory. Yeah.
In theory.
Okay, so I'm going to do a thing that I get to do, which is challenge one of your values.
Oh, crap.
And Dr. Lyle, you were there. You're at the command station. I'm going to challenge there is, what is it? There are, discovery is worth any danger. So you can either take a point of determination, and I will give you a point of determination basically if you basically just start hitting buttons and and decide that no, my solution is better. It is totally up to you. You do not have to do this. You can listen to the little angel on your shoulder if you desire.
This is your
Listen to the what?
first command, right?
I'm sorry.
It's mine, yeah, but yeah. So
yeah, it's Ortho's. I've been on quite a few missions by this point. I have a long and storied career of getting ships and crews out of trouble, also into trouble, but I don't think that's important at this exact moment. I think since all the math works, I don't want to make us a taxi service or like a space Uber and have us like towed back, and who even knows if
It's our
they'll damage the
dignity.
nacelles or something.
Okay, so because you have to come up with a way to get them into the nacelles. So while they are doing that, I will absolutely let you hijack the main deflector and do your. Well, you're gonna have to use bold here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to use bold. Okay. Wait, where's my dice tab? Hang on. Okay, what am I rolling here?
You get arrested again.
I want to know, like, is
It's
Lavore
great
still
because
keeping
I just got out of the brig on my last ship like a week ago. I'm still trying to get used to taking showers on my own schedule.
So
I think it's worth it. This is
so
worth
I'm
it.
going to say Ensign West and Lieutenant Commander From. You're trying to calibrate the nacelles. You are opening them so that you can try to find a path for these creatures to get into the nacelles amongst the warp plasma. Lavore and Ortho, what are you doing right now?
I mean, I was going to say, like, Lavore and I from the get-go have been keeping an eye on Dr. Lyle.
Can
for
I pretend
various
I'm doing
reasons.
something else? Like, oh, hang on, you guys, I'm gonna just make a ship's log entry. I'm gonna put some pictures up
That's just a
on
euphemism for
my,
hitting the restroom.
on my Shipstagram, and wait for some likes to start rolling in.
I mean,
Do I have Shipstagram? I probably have Shipstagram.
I'm sure you can. So there's a thing you can do with your presence and science, which is like it's like a social maneuver where you basically gobbledygook science at people and try to out science them.
Oh, so like my books, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to make a roll of I'm going to make this an opposition. So you can roll your 2 dice, and I'm going to have Ortho and Lavore. You're both going to roll your insight and science in opposition.
Not good, not good.
This is great. Can I apply? There's got to be something I can apply.
Am I babbling something about the nacelles, and I'm just checking on their stats and stuff, and their current condition? The ship's been without power for a long time. Blah blah
Hey
blah.
Doc,
blah,
if
blah,
you
blah,
really
blah,
want to
blah.
drive the point home, spend some threat.
Yes, this is a
Huh?
science test. If you want to, you can,
Oh, dude.
Oh. Wait, can I? I want this to work.
Yeah.
For it.
Okay, so yeah, you can buy. Actually, you know what? This is actually also an occasion where your determination, so where you could spend your determination. Frankly, this is 100% your character's value. Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
actually, yeah.
so one of those dice is going to automatically be a 1,
Okay.
Oh man.
and then you can buy. You'll have your original 2 dice, and then you can buy up to 2 more if you give me 3 threat. So you'll have 5 dice.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm going for it.
Okay.
Damn.
Bold science. No, it's,
All
on,
right.
it's on the sheet. It says.
Yep. Okay, so for Lieutenant Lavore and Lieutenant Commander Ortho, I don't know, Mike, if you guys have any, what's the word I'm looking for? Momentum left.
We have 1.
We're spending that fucker.
This is gonna work.
I don't know,
It
man.
works on the page.
Okay.
I got my
All right.
lucky slide rule.
All right. So we'll start with you, Dr. Lyle. Roll your 5 dice. Well, roll
5
4 because
dice.
one of them's automatically a 1.
Okay, 4 dice. 4 d20. Okay. 9, 1, 12, 10.
So you got a 1, a 1,
man.
4, 12. So you got, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 7 successes. Say 8 successes because this is about gaseous anomalies.
It's one of my focuses. Foci,
Yeah,
whatever.
so basically you've told them like, oh no, I need to do this, I need to align this, I'm lining up the deflector this way, this
I'm
will
helping.
help the aliens get into the nacelles. Your plan is totally right, I totally understand. So go ahead and see if you can see through that.
Okay. Does my one of my focuses has to apply? Come on, man. Does my Starfleet protocol apply in order to see through and if something's contravening Starfleet protocol? That's all I got.
Have we been on protocol this entire time?
I was
We
gonna
really
say,
have not.
I will give you diplomacy for seeing through
Diplomacy
someone's
works.
BS.
Diplomacy works. I don't think I've got enough between Lavore and I don't know if we have enough to.
And Lavore, I think I will let you. I'll have you apply your interrogation focus because you are trying
boy.
to. Yeah.
All right.
Science.
Do I roll
Roll
2
it up.
or 1?
It's up to you guys who's buying the extra 1 through momentum.
Either or.
Not
Okay.
me. I'm bad at all this.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
every-
All right. So I've got, because the 18 is no good. What was it? I was rolling, Nathan.
You're rolling your insight and science, which
Insight
you're not bad at.
and I'm not bad. Yeah, that's a 14. So that's 3 successes. One of them is a 4. I don't know if that matters.
No.
Okay.
Your science is 3. So okay. And Lavore.
I rolled an 11, which is higher than 9, and a
Yep.
14. So
Okay. So the science is just a bit beyond you, and I'm going to lean it into your like. There's I will never understand humans. So like, you're just like. So no, it seems like she's helping right up until the point where you feel the deflector power up and weird pulses go flashing out.
That's
So
still
now,
helping.
so now I want to see if you can actually pull this off. So give me your control and science because you are making this. No, this is daring. I'm sorry. This is a daring and science roll.
When do I start running for the con so I can pilot us out of here?
I'm actually going to say both Frunk and Ensign West are like, wait, she's not helping. You've just realized like right now, like
Yeah,
no,
that
this
feels like
isn't
a
right.
deflector
No.
shield.
I aimed the deflectors at a point in space where we shouldn't be in any danger. I mean, to a couple of standard deviations, we shouldn't be in any danger. I wouldn't worry about it. I'm thinking this. I'm not saying this. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. What am I rolling? Is that control?
It's daring and science. You are
Okay.
doing this by will alone. I mean, you've got the numbers, but this is not
It's been a while since I looked at the
dedicated
numbers.
procedure.
Okay, so daring is 11, science is 5. So I'm rolling.
And I want you to have 3 successes to make this work because this is your field of study. There is enough plasma around to make it happen. And it is a gaseous anomaly. So you do have your focus. So if you roll a 5 or less, it'll count as 2.
Okay, so I'm rolling how many? 3?
It's up to you. Would you like to buy some more from me?
Well, I don't know. So my fellow crew members here have sort of twigged what I'm doing. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Are you guys gonna let me buy any more stuff?
Why? How are we supposed to stop you?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I'm kind of worried that if I stop you, it'll be worse.
That's a fair point. Yeah, now that we know you're getting away with it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like at this point, like alarms are ringing on some of the engineering stations. You're like, yeah, the commander, she's doing it. Yeah, it's too late.
I'm doing it. Okay. Okay. How many more dice can I buy?
If you give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 threat, you can have 5 dice to roll in total.
Wow. That's a lot of threat. I mean, it's kind of a lot of threat here anyway, right?
Yep.
We are never going to find those 2 missing starships, by the way.
Yeah, that's probably fine.
That was never on the cards.
Those bastards, if they're in there.
We'll deal with that when we deal with that. Probably when I get out of jail. Yeah, I'm going to buy them. Yeah.
All right, go ahead, roll 5 die, 20.
Okay, start. Stop. Okay, 11, 8, 8, 20, 16.
Okay, awesome.
Holy
So-
crap, man.
That means you succeeded. You got the 4 you needed, and you also created a complication. The complication is that really worked.
Oh no.
So the little onion is now flaring and pulsing with massive amounts of plasma flames. The whole thing has erupted, and it's creating like twist after twist after twist of plasma storms all around you. I'm going to spend 6 threat.
Don't do it, man.
To put a lot of complications into play. You need to get out of here. There is a wave of fire and plasma racing straight at you. Now, the good news is the 2 beings are like, yes, thank you, let us go. Yes, please, yes. And like, you can see on your sensors that the beings inside the little thing, they're happy now. They're dancing around, they're loving this.
Oh, good.
So if you release the force fields, these other 2 might just leave.
Yeah, let's drop the force field there from.
Okay. All right. So the good news is they flay off. That you hear the last thing you hear with their little shrieking communication is "We thank you," and they go right through the wall, leaving little scorch marks. The bad news is there's a wall of plasma storm rolling towards you, and you have thrusters.
Yeah, that's not great.
And shields. So
Okay.
I have I'm going to up the difficulty by 3. So from now on, anything you roll that is a 18, 19, or 20 is a complication.
Oh, Jesus.
And that's the approaching plasma wave.
Okay, and how far away is that fly? Like, we don't have enough time to walk our way up to the bridge to
No,
fly
but
this
the
ship.
good news is in main engineering, you can do everything you could do from the bridge.
Oh, thank the gods. Okay.
Main engineering
West.
is the secondary control center.
So
Wes,
do we
get us
want
outta
to
here.
do we want to fly or do we want to try and get the warp nacelles online?
You don't have inertial dampeners either, so the absolute best thing you could come up with is for someone to work on inertial dampeners and someone else to work on impulse. But right now it might just be, I just need to dodge the waves of fire. So you might be trying to do some evasive actions here or something else that you might come up with.
Ash, you were born for this.
And
All right.
Chen, you got it.
There we go.
While West is doing that, we've got shields. Can we divert any power to the shields or recalibrate them or something to give us a little bit
I
more
would probably
protection?
put the shields up.
That might
I'm
also be
I'm
good.
just saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
Oh.
probably put the shields up. If we've got power, put those up.
Yeah, should
Okay,
we use
so-
the deflectors as well?
Yeah, thanks, Lyle.
So Lieutenant Lavore, you have an ability you could use called remodulate shields. And that is a control and security task. And it's actually the number of successes that you create adds to the shields for 1 interaction. So you can literally do that from where you are at one of the main engineering consoles. So you can make the shields a little bit better. Ensign West, I'm assuming you are trying to pilot between the waves of flame that are coming your way.
Yeah, I don't know if it's I was born to fly or when it all goes to hell, remember your training. Like, we're in hell. I was born to fly.
Your choice. Either way, you can have an automatic 1 by spending your determination. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go for that automatic 1 first, and then I will start piloting. Yeah.
All right, and Lieutenant Commander Frunk.
Evasive action focus. As well.
Yes. Lieutenant Commander Frook, would you like to rely on your who dares wins to come up with something here?
This is where my inner Ferengi is like, I have to prove myself to these people. Here we go.
All right, so in order, we're going to have Ensign West first try to dodge the. Oh no, sorry, we'll have Lieutenant Lavore try to up the shields a little bit. So,
Okay, up in the shields.
so that's 2 die 20, and you didn't generate any more momentum, I don't think. So you've got your 2 die 20, unless you want to spend me some more threat, which I'm imagining you probably don't right now.
So, 10 and 14.
Okay, and your control is 11, your security is 16. Okay, so yeah, so you basically bumped 2 extra into the shields. That's fantastic.
Perfect. And you're lucky I'm over here, Lyle.
Okay, Ensign West, try to dodge those twisters.
All right, how many dice we got?
You start with 2.
Just 2, okay.
You do have bold con. If you want to give me one more threat, you can grab a third. But you have you're spending your determination, so you're going to have 1 dice that is automatically a 1.
Okay.
So you'll have 2 more to play with. So you've already got 2 successes. I'm going to say this is a difficulty. It would be a difficulty 4, but you are you. And when you're doing stuff with a ship in danger, that drops it down to 3. And the ship will be helping you. So the ship will also be giving you a structure and engines.
Awesome.
Sorry, engines and con, I think it is.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm doing my evasive actions.
Yeah, so it's 2 dice, and then you've automatically got a 1. So you've got 2
All right.
successes already.
I got a 5 and an 18.
Okay, so that's 2 successes. The ship needs to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that's 3 successes because you've got your 1. So you're good. The 18 is now a new complication, but
well, I'm teaching you guys what it's like to be in a spaceship, because you're thinking of me doing this, but we're actually
who wants to be the Cassini and helping? I need 1 more die roll, which is
I'll go ahead. I'll roll.
Okay.
That's a 1.
Awesome. So 2 more
Nice.
successes. So that goes into your momentum pile. That means you actually have the 2 momentum you need to buy off this complication if you don't want it. The complication is the edge of the storm front is definitely going to hit the shields.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems kind of cool if we let it happen.
Yeah, I say I think we can. I think we can figure out the shields and hold, and then instead of
All right.
threat.
It's
just
so much
picturing
more exciting if
I don't. Mike's shaking his head.
the wave and generations hitting the
Yes.
Enterprise.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. You guys made the right choice. I got a 3, a 3, a 4, a 3,
Wow.
a 1, a 1, and a 3. So those 2 shields, the modulated shields, basically let the flame lick right around them. The extra oomph you put into the shields.
so Borg tech.
Did it. That's all you needed. You've got your Vulcan security officer just sort of probably nods and like, yep, that's what I did. That's what it was for. Yes.
The rest of us are like, thank you, Lord.
All right. Lieutenant Commander Frunk.
Okay, so what do I need? Control
Well,
engineering?
Yeah, I'm assuming you're just basically trying to like give impulse engines now,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Okay, so 3d20.
Yep, and you know your ship, so you get to re-roll. Oh no, so that's if there's a problem. Never mind. So you've got your 2 dice. Yeah, so you've got your 2 dice, and the ship will help you. Oh no, you're using your determination, right?
So
Yeah,
3.
3,
yeah.
and one of which is a 1. Go ahead.
Okay, so 10, 5, 11.
And you have control 10 and engineering force. Okay, so they're all good. And okay, yeah, you've got more than enough. You have restored the impulse engines and gained 1 more into momentum. All right, you guys are almost out of it. You need to plot a course and then hit the impulse engines.
Okay. You gave me that cheat sheet.
Yep.
and I'm
Okay, so plotting a course is
reason plus con.
Yep.
Okay. Difficulty 3.
Now, if you do that, you won't be the pilot. So it might be someone else plotting the course if you guys want to get this done faster. So if anybody else has decent reason plus con.
My con is not great. I can, if you let me, Nathan, I can, I guess, either direct or assist.
Oh, that's true. Yes, you totally can. So
yeah, I should have been doing that more. I haven't been.
That's right. I forgot about that. So you can, yeah. So this is cool. This is kind of a cheat. He can now direct you to plot a course, which you get to do for free, and then you get to pilot.
So I'm just trying to pay attention as hard as I can, and then he's like, "Did you do this part?" Yeah, oh my god.
Pretty much.
Right. So first, you're plotting a course. It's 2 die 20.
All right.
And you do have momentum now if you want to.
All right.
Because this is a difficulty 2. So it's
and let's see here, 16. So that second one's not going to work.
Sorry, I was trying to ask you if you wanted to buy anything with momentum, because you do have momentum. So
sure.
You can, roll one more.
We'll fudge it. It's my first game, right?
Yep.
13. There we go.
Okay.
Skin of my teeth.
All right, so now it is time to literally just engage the freaking impulse engines and get the hell out of here, which is a piloting check, which is so easy for you. That is a control and con. You've got push the limits happening right now. So you really, truly, I think you've got 3 dice and the difficulty's down to 2 instead of 3. So.
All right, there's an 8. There's a 16. Uh-oh. It's a 17. I ain't got it.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Is the ship gonna help?
Oh yes, sorry. The ship has to help. Yes. Roll 1 die 10, 1 die 20, Mr. Crilly, if you wish to be the ship still.
I'd be happy to. And then am I rolling a die for my assistance as ortho or no?
No, that was that. You just do that
okay.
as a,
Cool. That's a 13.
Okay.
Yay.
So that gets you to the 2 you need, right? Yes. You're good. Okay, so you literally, like, if this was a cinematic, the Cassini is like riding the edge of these flickering flames, and
like, what did we leave out?
You just coast out of the area, and then you turn around, like you're looking at it on the monitors. This is the largest, most energetic plasma storm that any of you have ever seen. It is flaring completely out of control in the Badlands, and you can almost see little wisps forming throughout the flames of these creatures as they seem to be gathering a strand of it away from the rest, and then as you watch, it becomes a plasma drift and it starts aiming itself away. This is apparently how they travel. So they've got enough power now to sort of start throwing themselves towards home. But you've basically set an entire area of space on fire. But success.
But
I'm sure the radiation wash on the nearby colonies is fine.
Totally fine. Totally fine.
But
Maybe
what are
we killed
colonies
some
doing in
Maquis.
some place called the Badlands anyway? They should be living somewhere else.
Trying to live.
Go live in the good lands. Go ahead, you guys.
So eventually the captain wakes up.
Oh gods.
And you guys are on your way back to Starbase 375. I assume you would immediately pilot yourselves towards somewhere else because you've only got like 5 people running a ship and a drunk or a hungover engineer, and the hologram. So you.
Oh no, 4 people. One of them's in the brig.
I was going to
True.
say, yeah. As
think
soon as we're out of
yeah.
there, I'm asking Lieutenant Lavore to put Dr. Lyle in the brig. Sorry, Premee.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's why I've got my uniform, like my brig uniform, like folded up in a corner, so it's waiting for me. Like my shiv is next to it, like nice and easy.
It's like she's like, oh yeah, no. First you need my comm badge, then you need my tricolor.
Yeah,
It's
okay, guys, I remember how all this goes. We're heroes, though.
Yep.
I'm
So
not
not
even
only write
commenting
that
on
paper.
that.
Yeah. So not only did you actually save a new life form that the Federation had not encountered before. This is a very good thing. You did, however, break a few regulations and safety protocols.
I'm gonna give us a Nobel for this.
They might not.
After I get out of the brig.
Yeah. The rest of you did your jobs very, very by the book. The captain's biggest concern was that we didn't get a whole lot of information out of these aliens about the other ship, but from what they can piece together from the the recording, and actually Dr. Lyle agrees to help them float theories, I imagine, from the brig in exchange for certain leniencies. Ultimately, the decision or the conclusion you come to is that whatever brought them here also did something to the other ships. And since there's no trace of those other ships, the conclusion is, unfortunately, that these 2 ships are lost. The good news is No one in the Maquis and no one in the Cardassian Union know how to do that. So you've discounted like enemies. There's a science ship that's been reassigned to the Badlands that's going to study this amazing plasma storm, and also try to communicate with the aliens before they get out of range. But you've all done a very good job. You have not only saved your entire crew from what could have been a very fiery death, you have in fact made first contact. Okay, one of you's in the brig, but it was worth it, I'm sure. Oh, and more importantly, when the doctor makes his full recovery, you're all invited, even the doctor, Dr. Lyle, to a dinner. He has to have it given to her in the brig, him in the brig, but for the rest of you, he has you over for a wonderful meal. He even makes something vegetarian out of deference for the Vulcan officer among you.
We have the classic second contact pancakes.
For the pancakes.
Yes. So congratulations, there you go. And 1022, close to what I was hoping for.
Nicely done.
Not bad.
Yay, go team.
Oh man, good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. That was awesome. You guys were amazing. I had to change my plans about 4 times.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, I had to keep looking at my cheat
gosh.
sheets to remember what it was I was supposed to be saying about
I
gaseous
bought
nominals.
all the science, Premee.
Yeah.
I see we raised $195 if someone wants to kick in
Oh.
an additional
Yeah, come on. Yes.
Yeah.
For
Oh, yeah,
science.
Anyone out there?
I gotta say, to the person who won my books, those are on the way. I
Oh,
didn't get
brilliant.
them in Canada. Yes.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I think I'm in this package too, aren't I? Someone
You
is
are.
getting, yeah, someone's getting my 2 YA novels. So thank you very much for making a donation. I hope you enjoy a really nerdy teleporting gay teen.
Several people have asked about these tricorders. My wife got them for
Yeah.
like $12 somewhere online. So
Oh,
they're,
that's
they're
so
really small. Yeah.
That $12 is getting spent tonight.
cool.
And they come with a cool little book too.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
awesome. That's very
All right,
cool.
so
Wanted to
on
get the
behalf-
Primates mod kit.
So on behalf of Bag of Giving, I'm going to say thank you. And I'm also going to say good night because I am an old. I remember the original series and it is late.
That's
So
right.
live long and prosper, everybody, and
Perfect.
good
Live long and
night.
prosper.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
everybody.
Nathan. You were a
Thanks, Nathan.
great master.